And that one's really interesting because it dives into like what is reality and perceptions.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
It's cool. Yeah, I think the newest season is better than the previous season, which is only 3 episodes. It's very British.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, it's not a whole lot of episodes. It's 5 or 6 seasons.
I have a long time to catch up on stuff now, anyways, because I'm not going to get new content for quite a while.
Oh, because of the writer's strike.
Yeah.
Well, hello, and welcome to Pixel Pints. We are the only global gaming podcast that covers two great things, which is good beer and video games. I'm your host, Mitch. McWomble was supposed to be here, and then he chickened out, and he didn't tell us why. So now we can just call him a chicken. He just didn't want to come to talk to you, the fans, and tell you Xbox Showcase was not as good as you thought it was. Or was it? We'll find out later. But I am your host, joined by an astounding panel of people. They're not experts, they're just people. And so we have, all the way in Japan, we have Evan Piotrowski.
Hey, how's it going, guys? It kind of sucks too because as much as I was kidding a bit about my pushback with the Tears of the Kingdom episode, obviously, but I'm listening to it and it's just like a podcast where you're listening and you're like, can I rewind time and jump on this podcast because I need to make a point right now, but you can't. You're sitting on that other side of the mirror and you're banging on it and no one can hear you. So I'm guessing at 1 or 2 points, Mitch McWomble is going to hear what you have to say and just wish he could rip through the ether and grab a microphone from somewhere and push back a little bit. We'll see. I wish he was on the episode for sure. We miss you, McWomble. Hope you're well.
I feel like Liam will be ripping through the screen of the podcast more than McWomble will. But anyway, let's get off to Burkhoff, who's over in Las Vegas.
Not LA, not Long Beach, in Las Vegas.
It's just one of the L's in the other letters in the alphabet.
Yeah. Used to be in Long Beach many, many years ago. Yeah, I'm doing good, man. I just picked up Diablo 4, and my wife and I were playing that earlier tonight. Only got through the first little dungeon area, but pretty good so far. Like, I'm really enjoying it.
All the way back where I used to be before I took the plunge to Los Angeles, over in Minnesota. Minnesota. I don't have that accent, but they do. We have Stefan.
I don't think I have that accent, but
No,
you don't. No, you do not.
Are you a droid from Star Wars? What was that?
What do you mean? The laugh?
No, the Minnesota that Mitch did.
Oh.
No,
not
it's
you, not
because
you.
when I was in high school, we had to sing the state song for like the mayor or something, or the governor or something for a dinner. And as soon as the first words for the song is Minnesota, hail to thee. And as soon as they sung the first words of Minnesota, my choir teacher pulled me out because he knew I was from Wisconsin. And he said, just listen. And they sing Minnesota hail, and you're just like, oh my god, they all just flat on the O's like a boat. It was hardcore, and we were just dying of laughter. It was great, and they're all just looking at us like, what are you laughing at? It's like, your accents are horrible.
Oh,
No, I mean, I don't know.
I was going to say, every time I watch Fargo, I was like, do we really talk like that?
No, you don't.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
way
no.
over exaggerated.
I picked up a little bit of the long O when I went to school there. And I
Yeah.
came back and my cousin from Chicago was making fun of me. It's like, of course you would. Chicago sucks.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No,
It's not my introduction.
But yeah, so I have been playing some demos. I've been playing the Final Fantasy 16 demo. Amazing. We do have to do a topic about like demos being the beginning of games and actually saving your game and not making you redo that section all over again, because that's what Final Fantasy 16 does. It literally leads you to the beginning, the first couple hours, you play it, and then when you save and you buy the game, you just keep going. That's awesome. Love that.
Well, I think doesn't it jump you forward into the middle of the game too?
No.
For part of the demo.
It does not.
right.
Apparently, that's the beginning.
Isn't there some like like how like the iconic. I don't know how you pronounce the summons in that game, but
Icons.
icons. Isn't there some sort of like challenge you can do with them though? That's only in the demo.
Yeah, there's like a combat thing where you can add a bunch of icons that weren't in the demo because the demo features only well, there's two options. There's story mode, which gives you more abilities than you really do get at that time, or if you do it for combat, you get all the abilities only that you would get at that moment. And then the icon challenges, they give you a bunch of different icons so that you can try out some of the newer abilities that are further out in the game. So if you wanted to like try the combat more, but I don't want to be spoiled. I want to just play it. So
Is it like Bravely Default, where if you beat the demo, you get bonus stuff or when you start the game?
I think there's a secret ending for if you do the icon thing, but I haven't looked it up yet. Someone was hinting at it, and I just went, la, 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 don't tell me. So,
Wait, secret ending in the main game?
no, like, just
I
like
was gonna say, like,
some
what?
secret ending in the demo to, like, preview stuff, but I don't know. I'd have to look it up, and I just got done playing it the other day, so, but we'll talk about that later. But we talk about two great things, which is good beer and video games. We are here streaming on twitch.tv/pixelpints, and we do it every single weekend. If you want to know when we go live, you follow us on Twitter at pixel_pints or on Instagram at pixelpintspod, and you can know when we go live and talk about all the fun stuff or just post random things that McWomble just feels like doing that day that makes you angry and you just want to go, what the heck are you thinking, my man? But anyway, that's just a thing on its own. But you also archive all these episodes on twitch.tv/pixelpints, but also on YouTube and podcasting services around the globe. Just look up Pixel Pints, you'll find us. We got a green logo. We highly recommend you watch the show rather than listen to the show, especially for something like this, where we're going to be showing tons of B-roll for you so you can see what the games we're talking about. But that's okay. You can listen and it'll be A-okay. But we talk about great things, which is one, good beer. That leads us to beer talk.
Yeah, I've got some fancy ones this week.
Good, because I didn't have any because I'm playing 4 hours of tennis tomorrow and I do not need alcohol before.
Wow. Well, I did get this one because I thought McWomble was going to be odd, which is Cali Squeeze Blood Orange.
It's okay. He's going to have to suffer the consequence. He's not here for it.
Yeah, but
you should talk
since
to
he's
it
not
like
on-
he is here, just so when he listens back, because we know you listen, McWomble. You should talk to it as if he is standing next to you.
I do have another one too. This is Stone's Delicious Double IPA.
Okay, I'm sorry. As an accessibility person,
Right, you won't be able to see this. If you're
that
colorblind. It
is
just looks
that
like
is
it, right?
just no, not even all. I don't even think Stefan can read that.
No.
But yeah. Anyway, the can design's not the best, but it is a double IPA and it's 9.4%. So it's a proper session.
Yeah, proper sesh.
Proper Pixel Pint session.
I should point out I'm partially colorblind. So it's like I really
So
couldn't
can
read
you-
that.
I mean,
Can you
I
see
can
the
barely
face at all?
catch it too. It's
A little, but so my colorblindness is there's like the three types.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I have a hard
green.
time differentiating between like the red and orange brown type colors.
Gotcha.
So anyway, yeah, that's what I'll be drinking. I don't know if anybody else has beers.
No one else has beers. So we're just going to move on because we got a ton to talk about. We talked about Keeley's Summer Game Fest last week when it was just Burkoff and I. But we had Microsoft do their own thing along with Ubisoft with a shit ton of announcements. And we're going to go over them. Maybe not all of them unless the people aren't interested, but we'll see. But we're going to start off with Microsoft and we're going to go in order of what they announced. But first, I want to get your impressions. Don't give me your grade. We'll do the grade after. I know Evan has a hard out, so Evan can give us his quick grades at the end before he leaves for both showcases. But for Microsoft, what did you guys think overall for their showing?
I thought they showed some pretty cool, unique stuff that I hadn't seen before, but I was disappointed that we didn't get a lot of stuff wasn't gameplay like they promised.
Yeah.
Well, for the record, they didn't promise gameplay. They promised there was going to
Games
be
you
no
can
CG.
play.
It was going to
Okay.
be in engine or gameplay or cinematics. They did not promise everything was going to be gameplay, so I will
Okay.
defend them to that. But they did stick to it where it was no CG trailers. That was our big spite last time. So I'm happy they upgraded a little bit. Berghoff, what do you think? What was your thoughts on it?
There were a couple of surprises, but for the most part, I think it was exactly what we expected it to be. It was, I don't know. I wanted to see more stuff for certain games, and we'll get into that when we actually do the rundown. So, for
Well, if you have a
me,
quick
it
list,
was
shoot me a
it was
quick
okay.
list of what are the games you wish they show gameplay on, just really quick.
Well, like Avowed, I thought we were going to see way more of Avowed, which we didn't, and still don't really kind of know what that is. Fable, we still don't know what the hell Fable's going to be like. I mean, they did a great sort of like story style trailer, but how much of that's actually going to play into the story of the game, we don't know.
We saw no combat for Hellblade.
No, yeah,
We
no
haven't even
combat
seen
for
any.
Hellblade.
To be honest, we haven't even seen a puzzle.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on
Yeah.
that one. We'll get there. That one
Yeah.
is my most disappointed and most frustrating title of
agree.
demonstration. And Microsoft has failed them miserably in marketing and knowing what to show for this title because no one knows what this title is. That is what's so fucking confusing. Anyways, sorry, I'm already swearing. Damn it. Damn it. Evan, what did you think? What did you think of the showcase?
I think initially I had said in the chat that it was really good. I think I've cooled on it a bit, realizing that when they put out the whole, I don't understand why these marketing types do this, and they say things and then immediately that puts your head into a space of anticipation that backfires because you're like, well, wait a minute, that technically it was gameplay, quote unquote, but it actually wasn't. It's like, just don't say stuff like that. Because then you look at Fable, even in this link that you posted, Mitch, it says introducing the new gameplay trailer. I didn't see any gameplay.
There's
It's in
gameplay.
engine.
It's
Okay,
so little bits.
Okay, no.
It's
That's
not?
where I'm going to correct you, and that's let's get the we'll get to Fable, and I'll bring that up. But yes,
Okay,
I agree
okay.
with you, Evan. Yeah, totally. But you cooled
So
off
then
on it. Yeah.
it seemed like there's these studios that haven't produced anything under the Microsoft banner yet. So they shoot out something like South of Midnight, and it's like, okay, conceptually that looks cool, but this again, there's no gameplay. It's basically, and then it shows. I think it was I don't know the lady who was hosting it, and they're like introducing two games from the new
the
studios.
comms
Please-
marketing thing.
Yeah. Please remember that we have stuff coming, but we've known they've had stuff coming, and they still didn't show us gameplay. However, there are some interesting things on here, like some of the best games that I've been interested in out of all the showcases were in this. But I'm guessing a lot of that is coming to other platforms. They weren't allowed to say anything for 48 hours or something.
Which
a lot-
titles were you referring to? Are you referring to all the Persona ones?
Us, like a Dragon and Jasant and
Path of the Gods.
Metaphor? Is that the one?
Kunitsugami, Metaphor, that type of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming that they just like the companies themselves can't post their own trailer for like 24 hours, which then shows all the logos of which it comes out on. Or like Sony could have immediately posted something like Microsoft did with theirs and being like, oh, these games are coming to Xbox as well, but Sony just didn't do that.
Okay, so to wrap up, luckily someone like me that likes the smaller games like Jasant or Dungeons of Hindenburg, if you're cool on that stuff and you don't care about Starfield, I could see you walking away quite disappointed with this. Overall, I thought it was good because it was nice to see a lot of games I'm interested in. But yeah, it's in comparison to. I'm curious about you guys throwing out that A for Summer Game Fest all willy nilly.
Oh, this was
comparison
not
with
better.
that-
This was not better than Summer Game Fest.
Oh,
I
man.
didn't
my
rate
personal
100%.
opinion.
Summer Game Fest.
Not at all.
Disagree, but okay.
Well, I'll get to my overall. My overall, I think this is not as good as Summer Game Fest, and I have multiple reasons. I was never surprised. I didn't get a shock and awe like I did with Prince of Persia in the very beginning. I got way more information and way more gameplay from watching Summer Games Fest. I also got to hear developers talk about their title rather than just seeing a video. I talked about it in the last show of like, I miss that. I really like that. I love bringing them on stage and talking to them about their titles. I think it really brings more.
The live crowd too.
The live crowd really helped. I think it even helped Ubisoft
energy.
a little bit too. Like, even though Ubisoft didn't have as good of a conference, but I think overall it was good, not great. I think it was like, yes, is it a step in the right direction? No CG trailers? Good. No gameplay though. Like, and for titles that we should see gameplay for, like we have a Star Wars title that is coming out in 2024, and we got a full snippet of gameplay for that to see how the game actually plays. But Microsoft can't show gameplay for 3 2024 titles? Are you kidding me? That's ridiculous. Even Starfield, they couldn't. It's like, that was my most biggest thing. It's like, can you just show me a mission on Starfield? I get there's a ton of systems. I get that. But like, just play it. Play it for me and let me see it be played instead of just going, oh, let's hop to the story. Oh, let's hop to ships. And it's like, yeah, you can do all that. And we've seen all that. And those are all the dev behind the scenes. And like, they could have done that in their direct thing. But what I wanted was when they showed off that story trailer for in the showcase, because I count the direct as something different, the showcase, I would have loved to see them do a mission and then say, watch the direct where we can break it all down for you. Right. It could have been great, and it was just good.
This year's non E3 is definitely missing the even when it's fucking staged, where the guys got the controller in their hand and like, oh, watch what's going on. Like, even if they're not actually playing it, you know, it was, this year is missing that like really bad, I feel.
And Summer Game Fest was the only one to bring it, and that's why I still say it was the best one of the bunch. It was one of the reasons. But anyways, let's get to the games, which
real quick, Matt, can I see the beer? Because I can see the color now.
It's just dark and super fucking bitter.
Is that a House of Dragons cup?
Yeah, this is my Targaryen glass.
Nice. So yeah, let's get to the titles. The first one, we'll get to what you were alluding to, Stefan, which was Fable, labeled as a gameplay trailer. And then
I thought there was just a little bit.
And then there was a tweet that someone said, "Is this actual gameplay?" And the marketing team just said it is running on Series X. They couldn't clarify that it was gameplay, and I don't believe it's gameplay. It is in-game footage running in engine, which is the most optimal thing you can have this game run on. But when you have other systems involved, the visual will go down. It's not going to look like that at the end. And like, there's no controls, like that animation is all scripted. It's not like, none of that is actual like hands in the controller. And so like, I knew right away this was not actual like gameplay. This is just in-game engine stuff where they show off what the engine can do, not necessarily how it all works together.
I hope that means, or hope that doesn't mean that Richard Ayoade is not in the game. Because if he is not in the game, I'm not buying it.
I'm sorry. That was actually, that was the thing I hated the most. I love the actor. I love the actor so much, but he's playing himself. And I can't stand that in movies or games. It's like he is playing the It Crowd character in this game. And it's like he needs to... That pulls me out of the game, actually. That just makes me not want to play this game more than actually want to play this game. Because it's like, I don't want to watch the IT crowd in Fable. It's not what I came to play Fable for. But, Evan, what'd you think? What'd you think of this?
It's hard for me, unless it's a known quantity, it's hard for me to get excited for something and I don't see what it's going to look like when I actually have the controller in my hands. I've also never owned an Xbox aside from the Series S, which has immediately become obsolete. Thank you.
Not entirely.
Not entirely, but it's the ugly white box that I hide behind my TV because I don't like white consoles, and then they finally release a black one, which kind of is annoying, but I can deal with it.
For $50 more, though.
For $50 more, which it already was in Japan. They raised the price outside of the US.
No wonder that Japan doesn't like Xbox.
Yeah, I don't get it. But I remember watching my brother play Fable. My brother's a huge like high fantasy guy. He always has been.
Yeah.
Dungeons, Dragons, books, all of that stuff since we were teens. I've dabbled in that stuff, but when it comes to video games, it's not the main hook. I'm like, oh, this is a high fantasy setting. I'm in, or at least I'm interested. It doesn't really happen with me. So I watched him play it. It looked okay, but I don't know. I've never played a Fable game, and it'll be interesting to see what they lean into with the fantasy world. I will say I'm really really dumb when I heard Matt Kyle talk about how, oh no, he's playing like Jack from Jack and the Beanstalk, and I remember seeing the stalk rise into the sky. I like never made the connection that he was Jack from Jack and the Beanstalk. I'm like, oh my god, that was so obvious.
I
But
made the correlation, but I didn't understand what Matt was getting to until he said they're all fables, which is like all stories, which I was like, oh, now I get it, which I like the approach. I'm kind of
Yeah.
similar to you. I had an Xbox 360 and I did play Fable 2. And I thought it was okay. Like I thought the combat was just like a little reminded me of like it just like if Zelda is kindergarten combat, which it is, let's be honest. Zelda is kindergarten combat. And then if we wanted to upgrade to like, you know, middle school, that's Fable. It had like a little bit of everything, but it wasn't like complicated enough that like a kid couldn't pick it up and play, basically, is what I felt like. But Matt,
So
have you ever played Fable?
Yeah, I played the first one. I haven't played two or three. I think my biggest concern is that this doesn't feel like it's going to be an action RPG like the originals. This feels like it's going to be a third-person action game, and they're trying to compete with Sony, and I don't think it's going to work. That's my impression of this trailer.
But I would argue that Fable was always a third-person action RPG with maybe harder, more, a little more.
I'm saying like the way that God of War is done, or the way that Last of Us is done, or the way that the Sony stable games. I feel like that's what they're trying to do with this, based on the trailer, and it's not what I was expecting out of a Fable game.
I've never played Fable, but isn't the RPG mechanics more about your character choices?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Whether you're good or bad, or
And if you kill
things
people
like
in the
that.
town or if you buy
So it's
a
like a true
house.
role-playing experience.
Pretty much, except you don't get to like customize your character. I don't remember if you could. I don't think you could.
not to the degree that you can in other games. But
Yeah, not like a Bethesda title, but it was like you could make clothes and stuff.
yeah. Well, like your character in Fable, depending on how you played the game, is like
That's
how
right.
you customize the character.
That's what it was.
Oh,
So-
they visually change based
Yeah,
off your
yeah.
choices?
Based
Yeah.
on your choices. Speaking of visuals, there's a big uproar about the look of the female lead.
I don't know. That's fucking.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. There was that tweet about someone like trying to fix it.
Which I'm
It's a
like,
non-story as far as I'm
it's a
concerned.
non-story for me too. Like it's kind of stupid. Actually, I kind of look like I do like that she doesn't look like, a supermodel. She looks like you and me at that time period.
On Twitter, someone pointed out it's like you realize the whole point of Fable is your appearance changing based off your choices, anyways.
Which might happen. We don't know.
Right.
They didn't show us enough. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe she goes evil. She cuts all her hair and spikes it up. Who knows? Goes hard rocker. But yeah, this comes out in 2024. Last thoughts on it? Are you like, is this more exciting to you? Least exciting to you? Or
I would have to see more of the Fables because they only showed the one
Yeah.
Fable.
oh, they showed more than one. They showed a werewolf.
So Red Riding Hood probably.
Could be.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But I'd have to see how like we got much more like feel of what the one Fable will be like. We didn't really get. I wasn't able to like get a good feel on what like how varied the game will be with that.
No, totally. Do you think it'll make it to 2024? Wait, actually, did this have a 2024 release date? I don't think it did. Actually, it had no release date. I'm a liar.
So no.
This did not have a release date. Never mind. We're moving on. This thing's not coming out for a while. I give it 3 years. I don't think it's coming out next year, and I don't think it's coming out the following year.
They've been working on it for at least 2, right? Because we heard about it
Did they start over on it?
Yeah, but they could have been in
point.
most, and it really just depends. They could have been in the most pre-production stages of the title, which means, like, but this is maybe one of their proof of concepts. We don't know.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, moving on, they showed off a new title, called South of Midnight,
Yeah, South of Midnight.
which
At first, I thought this was the new Shadow Man game that was in development, and it
I had
wasn't.
no
so I was
idea.
bummed.
I had no idea what it was. I was just kind of like, compulsion, okay. I still haven't played We Happy Few. I've watched videos of it, but yeah, I don't know. What does everybody else think about this?
I mean, I have no. We Happy Few I didn't really have interest in, especially after like reading reviews on how it was. But I will say I really like this art style. It kind of looks like claymation meets stop motion animation, and I kind of like it. We'll see if that translates into the actual gameplay itself. Again, this is all like we don't know if this is all in engine or what it. I mean, it looks like an engine, but like besides that, we don't know what this is.
I heard that, or I read. I don't know if it's true that the characters in the in that trailer were moving at a different frame rate than the rest of and that's why it had that weird look to it.
Yeah,
Right.
stop motion is moving at a different frame than everything else.
Kind of got that the recent animated like Spider-Verse films.
Yeah.
Similar,
Right.
The
Look
two different
to it.
Spider-Mans would do that.
Yep. Yeah.
I do like the I really appreciate them taking the time to actually make the female lead look like she did come from Louisiana. You know, like she very much authentically, I would like, that is who I imagine is from Louisiana. If you told me like the description of like what she would look like, I'd be like, yep, that's the hairstyle I would see. You know, that's kind of the clothing that they wear. Like I'm really appreciative of them really nailing, and then all like the earrings and it very much screams Mardi Gras. Like she's like that she went to a Mardi Gras party like the night before or something. So I'm really happy that I think they nailed her down really well.
I won't know how interested I am in this game until I know how like diverse like the voodoo aspect is. Like how much effort they're putting into that, like how varied it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I still don't know. It's not a known quantity, right? It's like, okay, here's a concept. Might be interesting. I don't know. I was kind of whatever on it.
Yeah, so in the end, it's like, what is this game? I don't know what it is. Is it a third-person game? Is it a first-person game? Is it a tactical? Is it a tactical shooter? Like I don't know.
I don't know. Is it going to lean heavy into the magical aspects of it or the supernatural, which maybe based on the the character playing guitar. I don't know.
Right. It's like, oh man, this game, like, trailers, one of the goals is to establish like a aesthetic and tone and atmosphere, and I think that this accomplishes that. But again, there's no gameplay, so I think it looks unique, and I'm interested in it. What if the next trailer is, and it's a deck building roguelike? It's like the two worst words to describe video games. Like, well, I'm out. I doubt that's it.
Yeah,
but,
it's
yeah.
Well, this
With
is
how
it's
many
kind of
of those
interesting.
games exist, that's a very likely possibility for you.
Well, this is where I said like this is why I liked Summer Game Fest so much. This is where you would pull someone from Compulsion, put them on stage, and talk to them really quick. It's like, what is this game? Tell us what. Give us the pitch on what this title is, and then show this trailer, or show the trailer and then have them talk to us. Like this is where I think developers really come in handy to like talk about their stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Like a lot of people talked about, they're ripping off Last of Us Part 2, the debut trailer for that. I'm like, okay, well, maybe, but the reason that it worked, let's say that they did, let's say that they ripped off Last of Us Part 2, right? The reason that trailer works so well is because you already know what that world is about and how it plays, and it doesn't work here if that was what they were doing, or what they were trying to go for. Yeah.
If that was their cinematic tone, they couldn't nail it because they don't have a defined universe that is already built.
there's there's no association of how it's going to be.
Like,
as
if
a
you
game.
look at the opening first trailer for The Last of Us, it's Joel beating up a guy with a stick, and Ellie being like, comes in and is like, hey, you definitely kicked that guy's ass or whatever, and then like puts it away, and then all of a sudden they hear clickers and they hide behind in the bathroom. That tells you a lot about what the game is probably going to be. Joel beat up on a man. It's probably like an action game of some kind. They're hiding from these creatures. There's probably going to be some stealth elements. Here I'm just getting magic. I don't know what else. Monster hunting and magic. That's all I get. But I don't know what that really means.
What was the part 2 trailer again?
Part 2 trailer was Ellie
it's
playing
where Ellie's
guitar,
playing guitar.
and then Joel comes in, and then she says, I'm going to kill every last one of them.
Okay.
So
It's been so
the
long
reason why
since I saw it.
someone made comparisons because of the cinematography and camera angles were
Like
very
the shots.
similar.
Okay.
Yeah, the shots
They
that
could
were
you take
chosen.
multiple of the shots and line them up, and they're pretty much the same in certain aspects.
I mean, I don't know. I didn't think of The Last of Us Part 2 for a second watching this. I don't know if Naughty Dog has a monopoly on like guitars and cinematics or anything.
You know how often Quentin Tarantino does the same thing with his films with camera angles and taking
Yeah.
things. It's like it
It's a
doesn't
style.
matter.
It's a style, for sure. Well, we'll move on. Next one is a title called 33 Immortals. We're going to skip Star Wars because that one we'll get to when we talk about Ubisoft, because that one just showed a short debut trailer, didn't really show a lot, and they showed a ton at Ubisoft. So we're going to save Ubisoft for that. So 33 Immortals is a boss rush game, top-down, isometric, where 33 people play the same character basically, and they just do boss rushes. Sorry, I cannot speak. Anyone was liking this? This is done by Thunder Lotus.
Boss Rush and 33 co-op. I'm not interested. Both of those things turn me off.
I think it might be an interesting concept. I really like the art style. It is the same studio that did Spiritfarer, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Pretty cool how they can make something so different.
yeah, I like, going from the side scrolling to the top down, and then like completely changing the gameplay. I think it looks cool. I think it could be fun. Like I never expected to have much enjoyment with Tetris 99 or Pac-Man 99, but those ended up actually being, really interesting. So who knows? Like if you throw a bunch of people into something like this, like maybe it is a good time waster. But yeah, I think the art style looks good. It is different, and I'm assuming it's coming to Game Pass, so it'll be something that I check out.
It is interesting. I think like having 33 players at once is going to be an interesting complexity. It can either go really bad or really good, and that's where it leaves me slightly nervous. I wonder if you can do the game in smaller groups, like you don't have to have 33 people. I wonder if but my assumption is probably wrong. You probably have to have 33 people, which then also relies on 33 people to be in a party together to be able to like accomplish what you need to in this game. So like if all of a sudden it's not doing so hot, like people don't like the title, it'll be hard to try to find lobbies to be able to play this title.
They could fill with AI though.
Hopefully, yeah.
So like, like there's not enough people on the servers. They just
Give you bots.
yeah, just give you bots, and you don't actually know are unable to distinguish like who's actually a player or not.
This didn't take them very long to make. After how long has Spiritfarer been out?
3 years.
3 years.
I think it's like 3 years, and they did do an update to it. They had worked on it post launch.
Yeah. Evan, as our multiplayer super fan,
Yeah.
is this you? Is this you? Co-op 33 people?
Well, the second, the first frame of the trailer, I and because of the perspective as well, I was like, oh, this looks like the studio that made Jotun. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that
What
game.
game?
I might not be saying it right. It's in
Oh, Jotun.
Jotun, yeah. It's like it's a
JOTUNN,
hand-drawn action-adventure game from
Norse
that
mythology.
perspective. Yeah, where you're kind of in limbo and you have to like beat and press the gods in order to go to Valhalla. That game is amazing. And sure enough, it is the same studio. Just whoever does their art, the hand-drawn art, it pops.
Yeah.
And then I typed in 33 Immortals game into DuckDuckGo, and it said it's a roguelite, so I am out completely. A roguelite that
Multiplayer.
focuses on raids, and it's not my thing. I know the
Wait.
perspective is different, and this is a bad comparison, but I remember playing TMNT Shredder's Revenge. When 6 people were on that screen, it was absolute chaos. You could barely see what was going on. It was fun, but I just wonder, like, 33 people on that screen with particle effects. Like, I don't really know the gameplay. It's like, how far does that screen have to zoom out? It's like, I don't even know what color I am. Like, there's no defining features other than the color of your cape.
Yeah, I agree.
That just seems like why 33? Why couldn't it be like 12? 12 Immortals. I don't know.
Did you say it's affected by grades?
What do you mean?
I thought you said like there was like a grading system in it.
No.
In Jotun?
No, this upcoming one.
Oh,
33 Mortals.
No, he didn't say anything like that.
No.
Okay.
No, I'm with you, Evan. I think it's just like, especially since it's a roguelite, I mean, that even more has to mean you have to rely on the people that you're playing with. And if you have a bunch of people that are like new and you're trying to do a good boss rush and you can't get it because of the people that you're playing with, that's really going to take away from the experience. I hopefully maybe they like consider levels but that's what not roguelites are like. So it just puts you in a bad situation. I just think it's too many players for a roguelite boss rush type title.
Yeah, and
unless they have a creative way. Unless they have a creative way, you know.
It's a shame because their artwork is amazing. The game looks good. So they did Jotun, then Sundered, which got really middling reviews.
Yeah.
Which also, it's like a side-scrolling kind of Metroidvania-looking game.
I was gonna say it was a Metroidvania. Yeah.
Which, it looks great. Have you played it, Stefan?
I've played it, yeah.
How is it?
It's not bad. I liked when I was playing, but it's something that grows repetitive after a while, so I never bothered finishing it. If you can play it for free at one point, like on PS Plus, I would give it a go.
Just to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, they had one good game, then Spiritfarer, good game. Like, well, who knows? I mean, they're trying something new, and if this is what they want to do, that's cool. It's just not for me.
All right, we're gonna play a new game with these titles from now on. It is I'm in, I'm out, I don't know.
Okay.
Burkoff, you in, you out, or you don't know?
I don't know. When it comes out, I'll check it out for sure.
So you're in. Okay.
Evan, well, I mean, I'll check it out and decide whether or not I want to play.
Evan, what are you right now?
Out.
Stefan?
Out.
I'm probably out. If I don't have Game Pass at the time, I'm definitely out. Moving on, we're gonna skip Payday 3 because Payday is the Payday, and it didn't look that all interesting.
We're all out.
But we're all out on Payday. But Persona 3.
One thing, do you know I got to level 70 in Payday 2 years and years ago?
Moving on.
Online. Yeah.
We're talking about more interesting.
Move on.
We're talking about Persona 3 Reloaded, which for me, I'd rather be playing Persona 4 Remake. But Evan, have you played? You in Japan? You're a Persona person, of course. You gotta be. You live in Japan. I'm stereotyping you. So what?
I'm the proto weeb. Yeah.
Have you played Persona 3 before?
No. I don't know. I was a time in my life where I wasn't playing lots of JRPGs, I guess.
Does
so
this
I stepped
make you
back
want to
in
play
with
Persona 3?
Maybe, but then I was interested. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll give it a shot if they've improved the game, added some quality of life features, because I heard some of those old Persona games and Shin Megami Tensei games can be quite difficult and unfair. I know that Burkoff knows all about that with Nocturne, was it right?
Yeah, that's a great game though.
Is that the one in Antarctica?
No, that's you're thinking Strange Journey.
Okay.
But then Metaphor showed up, and I was like, oh well, I'm not playing Persona 3. That's my JRPG for the year. Metaphor looks way better, and it's brand new, and they put together this super team to make this visually distinct game that still has like the style of a Persona game. So haven't played it, maybe in the future, but it completely got buried for me under the weight of Metaphor.
And you should just wait until they do the double dip with all the content in it, because they're cutting content.
Yeah, so that was my biggest thing was like, oh, I saw this and I was excited because they took Persona 3 and it looks like they put it into the Persona 5 engine. Um, but then I read up on it after the fact, and all the Fez stuff is completely removed, and they're not integrating the portable stuff, so you only have the male character to. It's basically the base game from PS2, which was not the definitive version, not the version that anybody recommends.
Yeah, I only
Um,
played the PSP version.
And they are redoing all the voice work, but it'll be the same lines, nothing new.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's kind of a missed opportunity unless they are just gonna come out with like a reload uh, Royale or whatever they're gonna call
Well, seems
the Azul version, I guess.
not. I like Persona 5 a lot, but I'm just not as interested in this. Or the
3 has a
trailer
much
didn't,
better.
or the trailer didn't
has
make
a
me
much
as
better story,
excited.
but-
Maybe that's what it is. The trailer just didn't make me excited.
I played 3 and I couldn't get into it much because I always felt like I was doing what do they call the social interactions, like that mechanic. I always
Social
felt like,
links.
yeah, I always felt like I was um, doing them for the stats, like what stats I wanted for my build, and not for actual like relationships. So I was like, I can't get into it. That was like an immersive breaking thing for me. I just never
Yeah, I mean,
finishing it.
there's a way that you can min max it where I think you can do most all of the social links, right? And get them maxed out and get all the stats. So I don't know.
So Burkoff, are
Yeah.
you in? You out? Or you don't know?
I'll dip my toe in. Like I'll probably play. I put I don't know maybe 20 hours into Portable when it came on Game Pass, so I'll probably dump at least 20 or 30 hours into this. I probably won't beat it, but yeah.
Evan, you dusting off that Series S?
Um, I don't know. I need to see it. I'm happy to wait. I'm not champing at the bit to play this game. So maybe if it reviews well in a year or two, I'll play it.
At the moment, I'm a no. We'll see what happens, though. It could change my mind with reviews. Stefan, what do you think?
I'm out too, just with my past experience with the game.
All right. Moving on. We got Avowed. The one that was anticipated most by many people in this room.
By one person in this room, maybe.
Oh, no. I was interested in seeing what they were going to do with this title.
Okay.
Burkoff, what do you think?
I'm concerned now based on what they showed because I feel like this is more of a first-person action game in the vein of like a BioShock or something instead of an RPG like Skyrim. I don't know. I mean, I don't like the trailer. I don't know what they're doing with it because the first trailer that they showed um, kind of showed off the sigils, like drawing the sigils for the magic, which in Tyranny, that's the magic system. You have like these different sigils that you line up and you unlock and you create spells and things like that. And I was like, oh, dude, if they do that, but in first person like Skyrim, that's gonna be fucking amazing, and I'm totally gonna play that. This trailer doesn't show me that, and it doesn't. I thought it was Assassin's Creed when I first saw the character at the very beginning. I was like, oh, okay, this is Assassin's Creed again. And then it was like, oh no, this is Avowed. Okay, this is not what I expected it to be, or what I was expecting to see from the game. So I'm a little concerned, but it's still early. We'll see what happens when they release it in 24, or if we get to see any more of the gameplay.
For me, I'm kind of similar with you a little bit, except I was more disappointed in its visual aesthetic. I kind of expected more from a Xbox Series X title.
It didn't look that good visually.
I'm wondering if they're using the engine that they used for last gen and trying to up-res it as much as possible and not really, because here's the other info that came out about this title, is that this title is going to be very short. It's only going to be 20 hours.
Well, okay, that I like.
They said it was going to be only 20 hours, and basically they wanted to make it feel like Outer Worlds.
I'm down with that. I think that's a good choice, actually.
But I mean, and those things did make me a little more excited. The only thing that did was like I was just underwhelmed on how it actually looked visually. I just kind of expected more from, first party, one of your big tentpole titles, and it looks kind of like an up-res version of your last game, and I don't kind of like that. I was hoping for a little more. But Stefan, what do you think?
I had to rewatch it just now. I don't know if this is a good comparison, but I'm getting like vibes like if it was like a first-person Kingdoms of Amalur, because it's like way more action than
An RPG.
yeah, which isn't a bad thing to me, because like a good action thing like that can really that's usually what helps me get through like a big open world game. But you just said it was only 20 hours, which makes me more interested because my OCD makes it so I can't finish the big games. I don't know how I put so many hours into Zelda so far. But it looks so generic, this game, that I just don't know yet.
Yeah, I mean, it'll depend. I think if it is like Outer Worlds, then you can go through it multiple times, and there's like different paths you can go down, and there's like different choices you can make.
Did they clarify if the 20 hours is just the story content, like where Skyrim is a short game, but you can do like so much more?
I'm assuming that's what they meant for like main stories, about 20 hours.
Okay, then I don't care if there's a lot more content still that you can do. 20 hours is a perfect story time for main story.
Yeah.
Evan, what do you think?
All right, I gotta head out, but I'll just briefly. I agree with Stefan. It's just seemed generic, and I was watching the Giant Bomb coverage of it, and Tam, who also works for GameSpot, he was watching. He's like, what are the distinctive like features of this game? And they're probably in there. It is Obsidian. Like, I know there's a lot of people that might be disappointed in the trailer, but they're still confident because it is Obsidian, and they have a proven track record, I guess, if you like those games. But nothing stood out to me personally. So yeah, it's kind of it's not my thing, I guess. Could be good.
Before you go, Evan.
Yeah.
Your grade for Microsoft's conference, well, it's
Showcase?
Showcase.
and Ubisoft Showcase.
Oh, Ubisoft Showcase. I don't know, man. Like a C. Outlaws looks good, but I'm over Star Wars. I'm sick of it. I'll still play it because it looks interesting, and I just gameplay wise, it's like, yeah, that third person action game, totally into that. So yeah, that looks good, but I don't know. Assassin's Creed, I want it to be good. I like that it's stripped down and shorter, but I don't know. That didn't convince me. That it doesn't look like it has the polish of the other games. It's like everyone's on all hands on deck with Outlaws. And Xbox, I think I was going to do an A-, but then again, as I said in the beginning, how I kind of rewatched a lot of the stuff, and they didn't show a lot of gameplay for their first party stuff. Let's say like a B+, solely on the back of the stuff I'm interested in, which is Like a Dragon, Jasant, Depths of Hinterberg, and it's one or two more things. But a lot of that stuff I'll be able to Metaphor, that I'll be able to play on PlayStation. And I'd be happy to purchase these games because I want to get platinum trophies. I think it's worth it more than just playing for 850 yen a month on Game Pass. So yeah, the presentation was good, but a lot of this stuff I might play on PlayStation. So it's not like they have my money per se, but Yeah, I mean, it was the best one of the lot, I think. The Xbox one. I know you guys disagree, but all right, I
Did
have to go ahead. Sorry,
before
Burkov.
you go, did Clockwork Revolution catch your attention at all?
Yeah, yeah, it is. It looks so much like BioShock Infinite, which is not. It's not a bad thing per se. That game came out in 2013, but it's like I like what you're going for. I like the look of it, but could you at least differentiate a little bit?
I think we'll
Uh,
we'll get to it. I feel like it's BioShock meets Dishonored 2.
Sure. And you know what? I will play that game. That sounds amazing, but it would have been nice if that city's in the sky, like I don't know, man, I'm gonna fall out of my fucking chair. All right, I have to study the Canterbury Tales for the next 4 hours, and I'm gonna drink
Um,
beer out of my coffee mug until 6 p.m. tonight. So I will watch the rest of the stream. Looking forward to it. You guys did a good job last week, and I will, yep, talk to you guys later. Have a good one.
All right, see ya.
Later.
Um, on his comment about the game looking generic, I should comment. I was watching another Sifter stream, the showcase,
Mhm.
and he's like, oh, generic fantasy game. And then when he found out it was Avowed, he just lost his shit because he's that big of a fan of Obsidian stuff.
Dude, I love Obsidian stuff, and I was so disappointed with this trailer. I really was.
Yeah, I would say I was I'm similar. There's something about the trailer. It's something's off, and I don't know. I think it's just because I don't. I think this is an issue. Seems to be with Microsoft. This entire press event for them, their trailers don't have good tone. I don't know what to feel on these trailers. They don't give me any emotion, or they don't tell me what they're really like. It's this guy telling you, being like, basically, in a nutshell, you can do whatever you want, but that's like every other game I play. Why is it your game good to play any way I want? Why is your game so special to play any way I want? They don't answer that question, and I think that's the issue.
Like, one of the most important things with games is the gameplay loop. And with none of these games, I don't know what they are.
What the loop is, yeah. The other thing too is like a generic fantasy. This does feel like generic fantasy. The first trailer, it was recognizable as being set in the Pillars universe, right? In
Pillars of Creation.
Eternity.
Is that what it's called? Oh, Eternity.
Pillars of
I was
Eternity.
thinking of the book.
Yeah, I think the continent's like Azoria or something like that. It felt like it was in that fantasy world. This one doesn't give me those vibes. Like there's other than the one dude, the fish dude, talking. Like that's the only recognizable element, or like specific to the fantasy world of the Pillars of Eternity and Tyranny. That's yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like, sounds like this one is our most disappointing game so far of this showcase. Overall, especially because it's coming in 2024. But at least I got to see some type of gameplay from this title, so I know at least what to expect for some elements. So I'm a little more satisfied with this in that aspect, but with tone and everything else, I don't feel it. So we'll have to see. Moving on to something really quick, I just wanted to give a shout out to Microsoft Flight Simulator, because I want to say I think they evolved that game a bit, and I absolutely love that they did that. I just want to give them an absolute shout out to take a game that teaches you how to fly things, and then say, well, why don't we apply that with jobs that people do every day with these types of flight things, and put it in our game. I think that's a perfect evolution of the title.
And a lot of that's really relevant right now with all the wildfires and stuff.
Yeah.
Because they showed that job.
And any of you? Oh, sorry, we forgot to do Avowed. Are you in? You out? Or you don't know?
Don't know for me.
I'm still in. I just might be a little down on it right now.
I don't know. I want to see one more trailer to help me. I'm on veering of I'm in, but I don't know.
Yeah.
With this one, any thoughts on Microsoft Flight Simulator?
I mean, it's kind of impressive how how far they keep going with it, and how much they're able to add to it. Like I would have never thought of putting other jobs and things into it. The flight simulator for me was always you jump in, you get an experience of what it's like to be in different types of planes, and that was it. So I think this is an interesting add-on to the product, and definitely opens it up to a new audience. So I think it's
I respect it, especially like this evolution that they're putting for the sequel, but it's just not my type of game.
Oh, totally. I want to give a quick shout out. The other shout out I want to give too is that I get to fly the Dune winged looking.
That was I
That's
was
pretty sick.
excited. I was excited at first. I thought it was a whole other Dune game. I was like, oh, this looks cool.
And then you're like, nope, it's Microsoft Flight Simulator. But that's still cool that
Yeah.
you get to fly that thing, because like that would be pretty cool to try.
Yeah.
That's a very smart partnership. I give them all the props in the world for that one. We're not going to play the game on that one because we know we all are just not our type of game. But
I take it you're skipping Sea of Thieves?
oh yeah.
I was just gonna say, if that game wasn't tied onto Sea of Thieves, I'd be super excited.
I know. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's interesting that they just won't let that game die. Like, I don't know anybody
Let
that
them make something else.
I don't know anybody that plays Sea of Thieves. God damn it, they're trying so hard to get people interested in it.
Don't tell that to my coworker. He wants us to get together and play Sea of Thieves, and I've never played it, so we might do it.
I've tried to get into it. You definitely need other people in a group to enjoy it.
Oh yeah,
sure.
we're getting a crew together to like actually like be able to handle a full ship.
Yeah,
And that's why I hate it. I want to play by myself.
Yeah. I tried to play it by myself, and it's not possible.
Moving on to what I call the most disappointed title, Hellblade: Senua's Saga. We have had 3 trailers for Hellblade. I don't know what this game is. Do you know? Because I don't know. Like, are you kidding me?
I'm assuming that it's going to be basically just like the first, right? It's going to be.
I would not assume that at all.
Can we?
No.
I don't know what it is.
I feel like they were probably took on, like, it's going to be very different, and they took on way more they could chew, and that's why it's taking so long.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, I have not seen any gameplay. They did call the thing that they showed last time gameplay, and I don't call it gameplay because literally that thing is like, how much of that was player controlled? I highly doubt much of it because it all looks cinematic. Like, just like this, where, yeah, this looks player controlled for 2 seconds, and then all of a sudden, like, she goes into a full cinematic where she talks to herself again. And I get it. Like, that's part of the character. I love the first game. I'm not hating on the game. I love the first game. I love it, love it, love it. Can I just say, I love the first game, Burkoff. But, like, I can't tell you what the heck of this game is going to be about.
No, yeah. It seems to be a running theme, right? We keep touching on that, but this doesn't show any puzzles, doesn't show any combat, doesn't show what the fuck we're actually going to be doing, and I think that's the most frustrating aspect of the whole showcase is other than the Starfield Direct, and I know you have concerns with how they did that even. We don't really know what the hell we're actually doing in these games, and that should be the forefront. That should be the focus.
And here's the formula for.
If we were to just
go ahead, Stefan. Sorry, go.
I was going to say, if we were to go just off this trailer, I would assume it's just the same amount of like a walking simulator with some action in it. But like, I can't make that assumption with Hellblade.
And let me just say, Microsoft is doing a disservice to all their developers right now because they're just not getting the formula of trying to show games right. Like, Fable, they're getting closer to right, which is you can do a CG trailer the first time, the second time you can show me an engine, but the third time you better show me gameplay. Hellblade, we've seen in-engine, no gameplay. What are you doing?
Yeah,
If
it's
you're
been
not going to
mostly
show
the
me
dev.
gameplay by now, don't show me this game because I don't want to see it anymore.
It's mostly been the really dumb. I don't want to say dumb because that's a disservice to the developers, but they're like dev diary things. That's basically what they're using to advertise the game. Um, it comes off as pretentious because they're not showing us the actual game. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think so. Yeah,
They-
I haven't
I
really
haven't
watched much of
I
it,
haven't
but
seen Hellblade's. Does Hellblade 2 have dev diaries?
Yeah, they have like videos of like they show like the scenery of like real life scenery of like where they're getting inspiration and stuff. There's
Oh,
several of them,
I've
but
seen
it's
the
like that's
first.
all they put out.
I saw the first one when they did like that for the first game, but I didn't know they were doing it for the second one.
Yeah,
But
they've done several, but they've come out over the span of 2 years without them putting actual like gameplay into it, and it just pisses me off.
yeah, don't what was the word I'm looking for? I don't disagree with you. I'm all with you on that one. Like I'm just as pissed too. This is one of my favorite titles from last gen, and they're just dropping the ball on this.
Did you prefer it over God of War, or did you like God of War better?
Oh no, God of War is still
Yeah.
my was my favorite game of all time. But the audio was just so good in this title. It was
Oh yeah,
it was the best audio I've ever heard in any title until it's still probably the best audio I've ever heard in a title. But like the 3D audio now with PlayStation is getting really close to matching what they were able to do. But here they take it to a whole nother level because they're playing with mental illness,
hmm
and they do a really good job of simulating what people actually hear with mental illness. I think if with 3D audio that is on PlayStation, if like a developer tried to replicate that, they could get pretty close. So like that's why I was really captivated by PlayStation 5 when they talked about 3D audio, because I loved Hellblade so much.
yeah.
And here the audio's there, that's great. The great acting, that's there. We've seen it.
well, in the graphics, I mean, yeah, it looks beautiful.
It looks good.
But there's not much going on in the scenery either, and there wasn't in the last trailer. It's these like big caverns.
And you
There's like,
fought a troll, I guess, is what she said. What the voice actor said, and I would not know. I thought it was just a big baby.
Looks like a big giant, not a troll.
Yeah,
Um, if this is a question about the franchise in general, but if it turned out that it was all supernatural versus her having mental illness, like that would be the twist. Would that make you feel differently about the first game?
I'd actually kind of be upset
So,
because
I would too.
because
yeah, I would say
her
it kinda
having a
cheapens
mental
it.
illness is like what makes this title so unique,
hmm
and it also then kind of is insult to people that actually have mental illness by saying you're living in a fantasy, and that's not
I was
true.
gonna say it cheapens it. Yeah,
Yeah, I think the tricky part about this too is we've known about this title for this long, and I can't tell you if this is a prequel or a sequel, because the first game ends in a weird point that I don't know where this takes place, if it's after or before.
How did it end? It's been so long since I played it. I can't remember.
I thought it was after because she's like leading the tribe.
No, she doesn't lead a tribe at the end of the first game, I don't believe, if I remember correctly.
Oh, I don't know.
What
Yeah.
did that last CGI trailer show?
It was
Wasn't
her
that-
and the tribe going after the.
Because she was exiled from the tribe because
giant.
she was trying to save her lover, which was what happened in the first game. And then I thought she was successful in saving her lover, but I can't remember what. I'm gonna Google this right now while we're.
So you
fixing
can't
this.
remember if the tribe accepted her back?
I can't remember exactly the exact. I'm with you. I don't even remember the exact ending, to be honest. Tenuous
I was under the
sacrifice.
impression I was under the impression it was a sequel, but I don't think it changes the fact that yeah, we still don't know exactly what it is that you're doing in this game. If it's going
Okay,
to be a walking
so
simulator with.
she beats the final boss, which realizes the darkness is a representation of father's abuse and temporary imprisons the Furies in a magic mirror. Let's see.
I guess spoiler warning if you haven't played.
Yeah, spoiler warning. Da, 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 dead at her feet. Here's like she invites a player to follow her. Okay, yeah. Okay, this is what I thought. Yeah, it's not a very clear ending. That's what I thought in the first place. It's very, very not clear. She basically defeats what she has been trying to do, and she brushes off the darkness from her soul and accepts the Furies not as a curse, but as a part of who she is, which is the voices in her head. And then she invites the player to follow her, saying that there is another story to tell. But like when that all happens, she's not with her tribe. She was left her tribe. So I don't know if that happens before or after. So like that's just this whole thing. It's just it's so complicated. The story is
I wonder if
complicated.
it's like a back and forth thing game then, but
Who knows? I just know the story is so complicated that I just don't know where this takes place. And the fact I can't tell you that, and I've known about this title for multiple years now, that's a shame.
what's weird too is we've known about this game for how long, and we still don't know if they have that same permadeath system in the sequel.
We don't know anything.
We don't know anything
gameplay.
about this game.
Yeah.
We've seen visuals, and this is where it makes me angry, where someone says, oh my god, this is an amazing trailer. It's really not. It really tells you nothing. It just gives you a bunch of visual language and her speaking to herself about saying, are you ready to jump and take the dive? Which is basically a way to tell the player, are you ready to play this game? After you showed me 2 other trailers saying, are you ready to play this game? Get out of here. I'm so done. I'm so done with this. Until this game comes out, you better, if I don't see gameplay next time, I mean, it's like, Phil, what the hell, man? He should be.
Can't put it all on him, but yeah.
No, I ain't putting this on him. Are you kidding me? He should have seen this and said, why did you not give me gameplay? And then they'd be like, we're not ready. And then it's like, I'm not showing this game then because we need gameplay. Like, what the heck? I don't.
Yeah.
People reviewed this sort of stuff too much on the graphical fidelity of like a trailer and not the actual game itself or what they're showing, and that's why I think the reviews for the showcase are way off base.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you 100%. And I'm sorry if I'm talking in a loop, but if this was their first trailer, I'd be fine with this. But this is their third trailer, so I'm not down for this anymore.
Do we want to get to the next game because that's a little more of a positive? I feel like.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, are you in or you out, or you don't know?
I'm out based on what they've shown us so far.
For Hellblade?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll probably like it, but I'll probably really like it, but it's like I can't make that assumption and say I'm in. So I just don't know.
I don't know what this game is. I'm out. I don't know what the hell this is. If I knew what this is, I could tell you if I'm in, but I don't know.
So just based off that trailer, you mean? I thought you meant like of the game in general.
In general, based on everything we've seen.
Based on everything we've seen. Are you in or you're out? You don't know. Right now, I'm out. Right now, I don't think this is a game. Let's be honest. Sorry, I'm so mad because really excited for this title. Really am. But I can't take it anymore. God, fire Phil, for God's sakes, please. All right, moving on.
Done way better than Don Matrick, though. Come on.
Yeah. But I bet Don Matrick would have said, don't give me another not gameplay trailer.
No, if Don Matrick had his way, we'd be watching fucking NFL games on our
as long as it's Chicago Bears, I'm fine. All right, moving on. We got Like a Dragon. There is 2 Like a Dragon games coming out within like a 12-month span. This one is Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, which I love this trailer because it basically reminds me of Austin Powers all over again. I was just waiting for the music to but he shows up naked, and by the internet, he seems to be in Hawaii.
Yeah, specifically Waikiki. Yeah, well, I mean, kind of going off what you were talking about, like this is the first trailer. Um, we're getting an idea of like, hey, he's still the same kind of goofy character that we got in 7. Um,
Except
it's
an
gonna be,
American woman would not act like that in Hawaii, going, "Oh my God, it's Streaker."
Wait, is this 8 or the side story?
I thought I got the impression that it was 8, but maybe it's not.
I don't.
I think you might be right. I
I
thought
I thought
Evans
it
is
was the other
something.
way around. I thought Infinite Wealth was. This is where it gets really
No,
confusing.
it is 8 because Infinite is the 8.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
what
yeah,
I thought.
yeah. Yep. Okay. Yep.
So it's continuing the series. First trailer, we know where it's going to be set. I think Yakuza is kind of a known quantity.
Mm-hmm.
It
So
is. Well, actually, my
um,
experience from that comes from Hawaii 5-0, so I don't know if you can judge that.
but yeah, no, I thought this was a great intro trailer. It lets us know, hey, we're doing another one. This is where it's going to be located. Um,
Look for more
and
gameplay later because it comes out in early 2024.
yeah, and it was a short trailer. It wasn't like it was really quick. It's going to be on Xbox. Maybe not Game Pass Day 1, but yeah, I thought it was good. I'm excited. I still need to play through all the others. Um, I've got like 4, 5, and 6 that I need to play.
I thought the trailer was really funny. I'm just not into these games really, but from an outside perspective, I just want to say like it's really smart for them to bring it to Hawaii just for a change of pace. Because
Yeah.
like, isn't every game set in the same city?
I
Kind of.
kind of, yeah. They have different areas that you can go to, like
And they usually offer at least
the core area.
one new town to go to at least.
Yeah, the core areas are the same.
So it's like
Sometimes you go back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah.
it's like the Yakuza version of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, the same map.
Kind of, yeah, no, kind
No,
of.
I'm just kidding.
I'd
but
say
yeah.
it's better. It's much better. Anyway, are you in? You out? You don't know.
I'm in. I gotta play all the other ones, but yeah, I'm in.
I'm in.
You're in. I'm out just because I like the trailer, but just it's not a game I'll play.
It's fun. All right, moving on. I just want to give a shout out to I'm not gonna play Fallout 76, but man, did they have a catchy tune.
Yeah.
And they showed out they have 15 million people that played this title because they made it very clear in their song too. But 15 million dwellers.
I don't know, Stefan, have you tried 76?
That's a funny question. No,
Enter the vault of 76.
I've only played
Yeah.
Fallout 3.
You've never played any of the other ones?
Nope.
No New Vegas?
No,
Oh, dude.
a lot of it's my OCD. It's like I have to be very picky with open world games.
Okay, that's fair.
I played Skyrim and quite a bit, and then I started doing like alchemy, and then this was like at sunset, and then in the real life, and then I realized the sun was coming up, and I was doing alchemy that whole. I was doing the alchemy that whole time. Yes.
Oh man.
Well, have you
Yeah, I mean
played it?
76. I've played 76. I don't really care for it because I don't feel like it's not the same experience as 3, New Vegas, and 4. Um, yeah, bringing it into like the multiplayer and more like an MMO experience, it's not my thing.
Are you
really.
surprised they're continuing to support this title?
Not really. I mean, there's plenty of people that are happy to spend their money on it. So you got to go where the money's at.
All right.
I did play ESO. I should mention.
Yeah, well,
We'll get there.
that's
We'll
a tra-
get there.
That's a trailer that's coming.
Oh, I forgot that they had that.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
But it sounds like we're all out. Cool. Moving on. All right, let's get to Kanitsu Guami, Path of the Goddess.
Did you look up how to pronounce that?
No.
Okay, I was like wondering like how you pronounced it. So
I know a little bit of pronunciation for Japanese things.
okay.
Comes in handy when you work at Sony, work at a Sony studio. but I could have totally butchered it. Who knows? But yeah, this one was shown off at actually Summer Game Fest, and we were really confused on
Originally,
what
yeah.
this was. And then they showed it more at Xbox.
And then they showed it again. It's Capcom's little showcase. That
Oh,
they
I'm
did.
sorry. I stand corrected. It was shown off first here at Microsoft, and then it was shown at Capcom. That's
I
what
didn't
it
see the
was.
Capcom one, so did they show much of it there?
Not really.
So it's still like up in the air what it's going to be like.
It looks like a boss, It looks like a. What's it? Basically, it looks as if it's a multiplayer, like
Fuck.
like gates where it's a bunch of enemies will come out of the gate and then you have to take them all out and then close the gate and do it all over again. But I really can't tell. The game is really confusing looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks interesting. I like that Capcom's doing new stuff and they're not just remaking old games.
This reminds
Where
me
is
of a
my
Clover
Dino
Studios.
Crisis game, damn it?
Yeah.
Where is my
bet.
Dino Crisis remake?
Have any of you played any Clover Studios games like God Hand or Okami?
I haven't
A
played
little bit of
Okami, no.
Okami.
This reminds me of like a game that studio would have made.
I could see
Yeah.
that.
Like I like the look of it. But I was excited for it until you said it looks like there's multiplayer stuff.
I mean,
Yeah, I'm out.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it could be interesting. Like we'll see what happens. I just like that it's something fresh, and unique. So
I'm out.
I'm interested to see what they do with it.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I don't know because I love the visual aesthetic, and if it has like an old PS2 vibe modernized, like what I was talking about, I might like it. But if it has multiplayer, then I'm out. So I just don't know.
All right. For the sake of time, we're skipping Forza because we know what Forza is. Forza.
I can tell you I'm out.
Forza gonna Forza, and I'm not playing Forza. I don't think Burkoff, you're playing Forza either.
I dumped 500 hours into Gran Turismo back in the day.
That's baloney, Burkoff. You have so many games to play already on Game Pass. Plus, you have to finish Final Fantasy VII Remake.
It doesn't mean that I won't.
You don't have the time.
It doesn't mean that I won't sink at least 20 or 30 hours into Forza.
You will not. I highly doubt that. I don't believe you. Elder Scrolls Online.
Necrom.
Necrom.
This looks like an interesting expansion. So the one thing that ESO does really well is the story elements. Like they tell really good stories. The combat's kind of garbage, but it's still a fun world to be in. I think this looks really cool. I'm probably gonna pick up the expansion at some point. I've got at least between Steam, Xbox, and PS4 back in the day, I've got probably 200 or 300 hours into ESO between all my different characters. So I'll play this eventually.
I've only played the base game. I like what I was playing until I had to get into like the guild aspect or like the dungeons where you need to partner up with people, and then I was like, I'm out.
You can skip those now. So the way they've designed the game is you could just play story content and just do it solo if you would like.
But my OCD wants to do everything, and it's like
impossible in an MMO, dude.
Okay, so why can't they make the dungeon so you can do it yourself? Make it like do 2 versions of it.
They might be able to. I don't know, but yeah, I haven't played any of the raids or the 4-man dungeons because I played solo.
I went into a 4-man
or with my wife.
I went into a 4-man dungeon type thing, and the enemies were like 5 levels under me, and just one enemy killed me. I was like, that's just dumb.
Yeah, well, it's because it's designed for 4 people.
Yeah, but my point is, you could do both. Like if like Diablo, if you're playing with 4 people, the difficulty would scale up.
Yeah, it should. Yeah, I mean, I play for the story content, so.
You in?
I'm in.
I'm out.
I'm out. I've never touched it and never will. All right, moving on. We're skipping Overwatch because no one wants to play Overwatch 2. Even if they bring out new story content, new story mode to play, no one's going to want to play it. Anyway, Persona 5 Tactics. This was a fascinating one.
Yeah, I really like tactics games. Obviously, I'm a huge Fire Emblem fan. I don't like the art style.
I don't
Too
either.
chibi.
I don't like the art style. But
I don't like that either.
Persona Tactics, I mean, if it's on Game Pass, like, I'll fucking download it and I'll play it.
This looks like I want to play it on my mobile phone.
Well, to be fair, if it's on Game Pass Cloud, I might play it on my Steam Deck.
It's not what I meant. It's just like, for some reason, it gives me should be able to be play on my mobile phone, not play on my console.
I don't see why I couldn't.
Right.
This made me want, instead of this, a Persona Q sequel. Is that what they're called? The dungeon crawler ones on the 3DS.
Yeah.
But it's not that. So I'm out.
I am also out on this one. Burkoff?
I'm in. I mean, yeah, if it's gonna be on Game Pass, then I'll play it.
All right, this is the time. The Juggernaut, Starfield. This is where we could talk about everything about Starfield. What'd you think?
Matt, you want to go first?
I'll let everybody else go because I mean, it alleviated a lot of my concerns.
What about the eyes?
It's Bethesda. The character's always gonna be dead inside.
I don't know yet. It depends on how distracted I'll get with side stuff versus story stuff, which is very easy to do in a Bethesda game for me because of my OCD. Or how short the story is, and then after that I can do side content. One thing I liked was I think they said that Todd had it so like the robot could say your name.
Yeah.
And it made me think when I'm playing like traditional JRPGs and you type your name in, and then like during like cinematics it will go, and then the hero or the boy it will like. I was like, so I'm wondering if they're using AI for that, but like
I bet they will only have like a select number of names that it can say.
No, I mean, I think it's just text to speech. I don't know if you guys have played around with any of that stuff. Like I
have.
So there's a couple of plugins that I have for my browser that will do text to speech on news articles.
Yes,
but that's how I use it.
But text to speech is also extremely inaccurate.
Well, all right, but
especially
it's a robot.
for pronunciation.
Yeah, it's a robot, so it only has to get it right once, and then you're like, "Yep, that's my name," and then
or close enough, right? Like, oh yeah, that's how a robot would say my name.
Well, obviously we have a screen reader in our titles, so I have a vast experience with it and how to make it work. It is not that simple. I can tell you that 100%.
To be fair to what you're saying, I'm gonna type my name in, and it's gonna say Stefan.
Yep. Or Steppen.
Yeah, or Steven, so who knows?
If they're smart with that particular feature, if they're smart, there's the you'll type in your name and then it'll ask you, well, how do you pronounce your name?
They're not going to put that in there.
It can't. Okay, I'm going to tell you that right now. It's not happening. That is way more complicated than you could ever imagine, and they would never spend that much time just to make it say your name. Trust me.
Yeah. But I do hope that's the future of things like that, because like I'm sick of getting in a role-playing game where you get to type your name and then they can't say the name. It just breaks the immersion for me.
Yeah.
Fair.
But like what I was saying, I just don't know with this game. I'm excited for it, but I won't buy day one. I will wait for patches and mods. Um,
Do you not subscribe to Game Pass?
no, I have it, but like, I just want like what I would consider the definitive experience for me.
Okay,
Like, if I started this game, the bugs and whatnot could really burn me out of it and not want to touch it again.
that's fair.
Yeah.
So
Overall,
my main concern about this game, with all the stuff that they showed before and all the stuff they were talking about, was that it was just going to be another No Man's Sky where you have to constantly fill meters and you're always in survival mode and stuff like that. What they showed with this trailer and what they did with the direct was they alleviated all of those concerns for me. And they reiterated multiple times from multiple people at the studio, this is a Bethesda RPG. This is not, other games that you might have compared it to.
If it was their version of No Man's Sky, I would definitely be out
Okay.
because of what you just said. But then they changed that.
Well, so my thoughts and concerns were based on all the stuff that leaked
Oh,
prior
okay.
to them really talking about it. And then when they did release the first trailers, they didn't address any of it. They didn't talk about any of the gameplay or the structure or anything like that. And then obviously they have with this, and they've basically said, no, yeah, it is a Bethesda RPG, and this is what we're doing.
I can only take too much simulation aspects in games like this before
Yeah, well,
I lose interest.
yeah, because it approaches a level of tedium where it's like I just don't want to. I don't want to mine more resources to refine them to, you're basically just constantly filling all these fucking meters. Which like I said, they alleviated that concern. And so I'm super hype on this game now. Like I wasn't before. I was trying to control it, but yeah, I'm really excited for this. And
Honestly, if
the combat looks good too. The gunplay.
if my spaceship has feel, I'm probably out.
What does that mean if it has feel?
Like if I have to mine for fuel and I can only go a certain distance before having to mine more, I would not play this game.
Okay.
it's probably what's gonna happen though. To be honest,
I know.
it sounds like you have to go to.
Well,
It sounds like you have to
what-
go planet to planet to get resources to be able to craft things, to do things, to be able to travel farther, or to be able to build that thing on your spaceship to improve its abilities. It sounds like this is very much more, and this is where my concern did not get alleviated in this is I feel like I'm going to have to hop to like 7 different planets and keep scanning them, looking for a specific resource. It reminds me of, I love Mass Effect series. Don't get me wrong.
You're gonna talk about Mass Effect 2, where you gotta fucking shoot the scanners of the
Yep,
planets.
yep. And that got boring real quick. And I feel like that is going to be the same thing with this game. And that is making me nervous.
Here's my thing: is you don't have to do that in Mass Effect 2. I don't think you're gonna have to do that in Starfield. I think that if you play the story quests or the quests that go along with that, or like different factions, you'll get those MacGuffin items that will just sort of carry you along. That's my impression. It doesn't necessarily mean that that's true, and they haven't said that. But
Well, we'll see, depending on how many hours you get done of Final Fantasy.
Well, I'll just wait 10 years for a total conversion mod then.
So we're gonna. Well, I mean, I it looks better. It looks a lot better than I expected. It doesn't have a performance mode though, but
yeah,
It's
no,
like 30,
so
right?
so
it's going to be locked at 30 on console, but an upscale to 4K, I believe, is what DF uncovered in the trailer. So it's not true 4K 30, but I think it looks good based on what they showed. So if it stays with what we've seen, then I don't think there's going to be any issues. And if it's if it's primarily an RPG where depending on how much time you actually spend in combat, based on your choices, like you could, if you could build a character where you can avoid a lot of the combat and stuff like that, it's absolutely not an issue.
I love the joke. I made a joke during the stream because one of the girls was like, she's like, my favorite build is stealth. And I was like, what are you trying to tell me? The combat's so bad that you wanted to build a stealth character? I was just like,
No, that's
I know, but I was just doing it. It was a total joke. But what I will say is, my only reservation about this title now going into it is not as much of the probing, but I feel like this game is going to be good at a lot of things, but not great in one area. It's like a good at everything, but a master of none. And there's so much in this game that they're saying that you can do, makes me think that it's not going to be as it's going to be a fun experience to do a lot of different. It's like Grand Theft Auto. You can go do a bunch of things. You can have a lot of fun in that sandbox, but when the rubber hits the road, what kind of experience is it really? It's not really that good of an experience when you like do them like all together. It's only when you choose to do like, me running and messing with traffic and messing with the toys and like similar to like Zelda, where it's like I give you the system and you just get to play with it. And I feel like this is a similar thing too. And let's just hope it can like keep me entertained. I mean, I'm going to have to be entertained for 20 hours at least, but hopefully you guys will help me be entertained, especially if it is get boring, but we'll see. I'm just, I'm feeling better about my playthrough. Let's just say that I'm feeling a lot better about my playthrough. I'm still not sold because it's just not my kind of game. This is the type of space, fantasy, sci-fi I'm not interested in. This era of space. I'm more of like Mass Effect high fantasy where technology is advanced far beyond what this looks like. They barely started exploring space, and it's gonna be rough.
Nasafunk is what they're calling it.
Yeah, I don't like that.
They did allude to some more science fantasy elements, but they're not revealing any of that. And I think that because that has a lot to do with the core main quest of the game, and they don't want to spoil any of that stuff for players.
Yeah, we'll see.
I do want to comment real quick on how you mentioned the frame rate and it being because it's at 4K. To me, that's a bad excuse because it means that people that are playing it like 1080 have to suffer 30 because they're locking it because of that.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. We also don't know what it's going to look like or what it's going to run like on PC, right? They didn't speak to that. Todd did say that it'll do 60.
I'm gonna play
I don't know
the
what
game.
Hell kind of rig.
I'll be playing the game on PC, so we'll see how it goes.
Well, I was gonna say I don't know what the hell kind of rig you need in order to do that. I mean, do you need like top of the line RTX, from Nvidia to do that, or I don't know.
Well, I mean, if you want to take comparative titles, like just look at the PC titles that came out that are, like Xbox Series X or PS5 titles, and then just look at what type of specs you need, and that's kind of what you're gonna have to expect for this. So
well, yeah, it was interesting. So on the Digital Foundry video, they went into the differences between CPU locked and GPU locked, and they were theorizing that this game is probably much more CPU dependent, just based on all of the state variables of the world that it has to keep track of based on what you actually do in game, and the fact that you can pick up a bunch of shit and you can put that shit anywhere you want to put it in the world, and so keeping track of all that stuff is much more CPU intensive than it is GPU intensive. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see like what streamers encounter when they play it on PC.
We'll see what Mitch encounters when he has to stream this title as soon as Burkout finished Final Fantasy VII Remake.
That's how you're going to be entertained, is all the bugs.
I'm going to be entertained because hopefully you guys are going to be on this stream and help me out so I don't feel bored on this title. You in, you're out, or you don't know.
I'm absolutely in, yeah.
I don't know, but probably not.
I'm forced in, sorry. I'm in only because I'm forced to. or else I would totally be out on this title because it's just not my kind of game. Actually, I probably would be like I would be out, but I would play it out of curiosity, not because I actually want to play it. If that makes sense. It's I feel like this one is me playing Cyberpunk 2077. I wanted to play it to see the destruction and the burning. I want to play this to see if everyone is going to go hype crazy about this and if it's actually worth the hype crazy legitness. So
Right.
But moving on, we got a bunch of titles to still go through. So we're gonna
It's that Ubisoft, man. It's gonna be like a 3-hour episode.
Yep, that's how this works in this show. But we're gonna do a speed round through a bunch of smaller titles really quick. First one is Jacent.
I think it's Jusant.
Jacent. Sorry. This one is a rock climbing game.
So
This looks really
I mean,
cool to me.
Well,
yeah, Don't-Nod.
well,
Don't-Nod does a lot of different
sorry,
stuff.
I was gonna say this really quick. For these, we're just gonna do a quick. You're in, you're out. You don't know, and you could do like a quick 2-sentence.
All right. I don't know. Don't-Nod does a lot of different stuff. This could be a good game.
I'm in, but I can totally see myself yelling at this game a lot because of the simulation aspect of climbing. But I'm still in because it looks cool.
Okay.
I don't know yet. I want to see more. Next title. Still Walks the Deep.
Wakes.
Still wakes the deep. Yeah.
Oh, see, can't speak. So here I'm trying to like do 5 things at once, and I can't even read. Yikesies.
We'll help you out.
Thank you. Yin Yowdy, don't know.
I don't know. Chinese Room does a lot of interesting stuff. I like the Amnesia games. What was the other thing they did? Everyone's Gone to the Rapture.
Yep.
I started that. I didn't get too far. Dear Esther was interesting. This is along that same vein for me. Like this could be one of those indie darlings or whatever. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat. I don't know. Chinese Room does do those interesting things, and Amnesia is good, but like some of the other stuff, I didn't get that sort of vibe, like that horror vibe, so I wasn't into it. But this oil rig setting looks interesting. But it just it depends on how scary it is, too.
I don't know. I want to see one more trailer.
Yeah.
And it's coming in early 2024. So look forward to it then. Next one. Dungeons of Hinterberg.
Dungeons of Hinterberg. Everybody else, what do you guys think?
I'm out.
You
No
want to
interest.
explain on that?
No interest.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't even look good. I'm out. I'm not a fan
I
of the
don't
art.
know, like,
I'm not a fan of the art style. It just looks. I don't know. I'm not in. I'm out.
I'm in because the art style and type of game really gel with me, but it looks rough. So I will say that to it.
I feel like in my brain, Hi-Fi Rush did it better. I'm out.
I'm
It's like
probably
nothing
out.
like Hi-Fi Rush except the aesthetic.
Yeah, no, I'm probably out just because what am I gonna fit this in amongst all the other stuff that I want to play?
It's fair. That's fair. That's also coming out in 2024. That's a major theme. Everything is coming out in 2024.
Mm-hmm.
Next one, Cyberpunk. A huge expansion. In a sense, they're basically remaking the game all over again.
Yeah.
You're in, you're out, I don't know.
So the reason I never played Cyberpunk to begin with was, well, OCD, but mostly because of the bugs. And if that's all fixed and they're doing like rebuilding the game to make me interested, I'm more in. I still don't know, but like I was very sidetracked by during this demo because of Keanu's voice. It sounded like he had a retainer in. I could not understand what he was saying.
Yeah, it was a little weird listening to him talk about it. I'm in. I had a pretty good experience with Cyberpunk 2077 up until the point where weird shit started happening in the game. and like I was losing my bike and all that kind of weird stuff. If they fixed a lot of that, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The world's amazing. The way that it plays is a lot like Bethesda RPG. I'm down.
See, I'm like the complete opposite of you, Burkhoff. I'm completely out on this title. I really didn't have a good time playing Cyberpunk. Well, it was fine. I think it's just an average game, and I felt like the world really wasn't that much life to
Compelling.
it. I really don't think so. I felt extremely underwhelmed on how much I felt like the world was actually living and breathing, and I even in the missions I didn't feel a connection with the world at all for how like unique the districts are. Like when going into them, I never felt as I was playing missions like I was getting unique experiences that would help define those areas and help really define the city of Night City. And I never really felt like I ever got that. And I don't think I in my mind, by the end of the playing the game, I felt as if the game itself, the CD Projekt Red, doesn't really know what Night City is. It's just a word that they're using to say this is a really cool town with a bunch of things, but we really don't know what it's speaking to. You know what I mean?
Another reason I
Yeah.
never. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Stefan.
I was gonna say another reason I never played the original, was because I have epilepsy, and there was the controversy over the.
Well, it's not a
They probably-
controversy. They made a mistake, and that's inappropriate, and they shouldn't have done
Yeah.
such a thing, and that's irresponsible, and how dare they?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I feel like they fixed it though, right?
They
took it out?
did fix it, but
Okay.
still, it was completely inappropriate, and they should have known better. They should never do such a thing.
That was only for a brief period when it first launched.
It's
though.
enough. Yeah,
Correct.
it's totally enough.
It caused a reviewer who has a history of epilepsy. She reported it, and then they stopped
Okay.
it. But the fact that they even put it in there and gave it to reviewers is extremely inappropriate. Being like, hey, we'll just copy and paste what causes epilepsy and seizures to people. No, they don't do that.
Yeah, and then like
Not change anything. Not change the frequency. They it seemed like they didn't do any research. I'm as accessibility advocate, that is dangerous
Seems a little, yeah, it seems a
and
little irresponsible
reckless
for sure.
and
Yeah.
irresponsible.
CD Project Red like fanboys sent that reviewer like videos on Twitter that would trigger her epilepsy on purpose.
Yep.
That's fucked up.
Yep. So,
Right.
but yeah, Burkhoff, to answer, do you get what I mean when I was saying that?
Yeah, I do get what you mean. I wasn't that concerned with how empty the world was. Like I didn't really care about people walking around or it feeling like a bustling city because when I play the games, I'm the only character that matters.
Self-centered.
No, yeah, well, I mean that's why I play. I mean, it's totally the power fantasy, right? With those types of RPGs. And yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the romance options and the story, the way that it was written, for your character and stuff. So I'm in because if it's just more of that, I'm down.
All right. And then there's Eldris Elba for you.
He's in everything.
Metaphor time. Evan
Oh, you
talked
skipped
about
City
this.
Skyline, right?
Yeah,
You
we're
don't
just,
want to talk
yeah,
about it.
we don't need to talk about
Okay.
the City Skyline. For how much time we have left, not worth it.
I think
Metaphor.
it looks really cool.
Refantasio or whatever. I don't know what this is. Like, I get Evan is going bonkers over this, but I don't even know what this thing is.
Which is weird because apparently it's been in development since 2015.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep.
It's been in development for a while. I get it's like a whole
Interesting.
new way of them like making a new type of thing that's not Persona or not Shin Megami Tensei. But by the end of this trailer, I still don't know what this is.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like just by them giving us the pedigree and showing us, hey, here's the flashy UI. Like we do know what this game is. It's a crazy Japanese RPG. Like
I don't know. I guess because like I like what I find interesting in those Persona games is the story, And I feel like I got no story out of this. So all I got was like a bunch of sequences of them doing interesting things, but like I can't put the pieces together to know what the hell is going on. And I think like that's overwhelmingly confusing.
Sure. So what I got out of it is that it's kind of Persona in a high fantasy setting. Um, I don't. It's kind of like the vibe that I got was like Vision of Escaflowne. If you guys have ever watched that or know what that is,
I have no
Sounds
idea.
familiar. I've heard of it, but I just can't picture it in my head right now.
it's a '90s anime. So maybe a deep cut,
Hmm.
but um, that's kind of the feeling that I got out of it. And I think it looks cool. Like I'm in.
I do like the art style. I think for me it was maybe just unfortunately, like this would have been fine if Microsoft wasn't having a recurring theme of what the hell is your game. Like
That's
this,
fair.
it's okay to
I mean,
have these on occasion, like these type of ones, but when it was overwhelmingly I don't know what your games are, and then go another one like, oh, this is the brand new one that the like everyone's been talking about and waiting for, and then I don't even know what the hell this is.
Um,
well, all
I
right,
know
so,
what it
mean,
is, but I
like,
don't know what it is. And that's the part. The one part I want to know, I didn't find out, and that's probably for me the most important part, because like you can give me the pedigree, I know exactly what it is, but like the new parts is what everyone wants to know, but yet I feel like I didn't get any of it.
to your point,
I
I was gonna say that the only reason I know this isn't an SMT or Shin Megami Tensei game or a Persona game is the enemy aren't the same
yeah, yeah,
because they always have the same uh like enemy characters in their games.
demons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna be, I'm assuming, a turn-based JRPG. Like, based on the pedigree, based on the menus that they showed off, I feel like that's kind of a given.
Watch.
I could be
It
wrong.
won't be. Watch. It'll be real. It won't be turn based. It'll be real time, and you're gonna eat your words.
I don't know. You have a party of characters. There's that one menu that they do show. Yeah, I
Did
don't
they
know. Uh,
did they talk about social aspects in this game?
No, they didn't talk about anything.
no, they didn't touch on any of that stuff. It's just like here's
It's just
the
a bunch of
crazy.
things compiled together of like try to put the pieces together and know what our game is.
And then I just don't know because that would be the make or break for me. Because if it's more like Persona with that, then I would lose interest.
It does look like you build relationships based off the character making multiple handshakes with multiple people, but I don't know what it all means.
Okay, because like if it's where I can only choose like from one out of three people like every day or something like that, then I would lose all interest in the game.
Just too much anxiety for you.
Yeah.
All right, you in, you're out, or you don't know.
I would say I don't know just because based off of that.
Yeah, if it's turn-based, I'm in.
Wait, did they even show days? Like if it was
No, they
a time
didn't.
management?
No idea.
I didn't see
Okay.
any time
That would be a deal breaker for me too.
Yeah.
I'm in. I want to see more though. I actually just want to see like what I really would have appreciated from this title is like not the entire trailer being a break like snippets of little sequences everywhere in the title. Instead, like maybe had an overarching story scene of some kind of giving me a background of something, and then do a montage of all those snippets together. I feel like it was missing a flow of narrative through, and I wish I had that, and I guess that's what I was looking for something like this, especially because they're so story heavy in these games. But moving on, we have two left. We have Tower Bone.
Tower Bone or Tower Born?
Born.
Yeah, so this is the first new game from Stoic, right? The guys that created Banner Saga. I really like those games. I still haven't finished 2 and 3. But I feel like those were solid tactics games. I don't know. I don't think they showed exactly what the gameplay was going to be for this, though, right?
Nah,
Or
it's
is
just a
this
bunch of
another one
artwork
we
in the
don't know?
background, and Maybe
yeah,
it
so
looks maybe it looks in engine. I don't know. Well, yeah, they said there's no CG, so it's not CG. It's in engine.
yeah, I mean, based on the pedigree, I'm in, but without knowing what the gameplay is, I don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry. They
I
do show a little bit of gameplay. There's like a little snippet. It's looks like isometric side scroller.
Is it just a beat 'em up?
Yeah, it looks like a Diablo.
Oh, Diablo. I thought it was supposed to be more like a side scroller beat 'em up, like it's in like Turtles, but high
Oh, I have
fantasy.
no idea. It's I'm just trying to like tell you what I'm seeing. I don't know if, like the difference between a Diablo and the beat 'em up, but it's isometric, up down. And it looks like they're battling a bunch of things. So it could be
Okay.
it could be either,
If
because they are
it's more
taking
beat up,
loot. They are taking loot. So
Well, all right. So I mean, based on what they showed, yeah, there's like beat 'em up elements to it, but then there's the end of the trailer where it's like a hexagon pattern, more
Mhm.
like a tactics game. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know what the gameplay is of this actually.
oh, I see what you mean. Gotcha.
And without knowing what it actually is, then yeah, I can't say.
I am gonna be out because I'm very picky with beat 'em ups. I usually only care about like the retro comic book types
Mm.
or like Battletoad. I mean, that's more a side scroller, but that's the beat 'em up
Yeah,
still.
Battletoads a beat 'em up.
Yeah. I love fantasy, but like when it's like this, I lose more interest with beat 'em ups. The art style is really cool, but I'm still out.
I'm out. I have no interest.
All right.
Oh, Berghoff, you're just not gonna answer?
No, I said it without knowing.
Oh,
I don't know.
I
Yeah.
don't know. Gotcha. Last
Yeah,
one.
without.
Clockwork Revolution.
Well, I alluded to what I think this is going to be early on in the episode. To me, this feels like it's going to be Dishonored 2 meets BioShock Infinite, and it's from In Exile, which I mean they're known for like the heavy RPG elements. So I'm in based on what I know about the studio and based on what they showed. I think this is going to be really interesting.
Um, it was on Game Face. They talked about the difference between like most cyberpunk games, how they and steampunk, like how they it's just the aesthetic. They don't really go into the punk aspect of like Revolution.
Mm-hmm.
That's what interests me about this game. Like it looks like they're actually going for the Revolution part of steampunk.
Right.
So based off what I'm seeing in that, I'm in. But if it was just generic steampunk, I probably wouldn't be in.
I don't know. I need to see the actual gameplay. Because like,
That's a good point. I should say I'm
you're
on the fence.
you're saying it's like it's yeah. I don't know. I'm not as crazy into this.
I thought it showed gameplay though.
Well, I was gonna say I think it's a first-person shooter, but we don't know.
It saw them
Okay.
shoot a gun at one enemy. Who knows if that's gameplay or if that's just in-engine stuff. Oh, I guess they showed a little more. It looks like they showed rebuilding something, but we don't know if that. I mean, you just don't know with these things unless
It's
you're
hard to
seeing.
tell without a HUD.
It's hard to tell without a HUD. It's hard to tell without someone like moving around and actually making mistakes in movement. And we all know what we're trying to say. But anyway,
Yeah. I'm excited for it, but I just don't know.
I'm not
I'll say
crazy
that.
about the aesthetic, so hopefully the gameplay or the story would convince me, because I'm not a fan of this clockwork type stuff. That's just me.
I guess I'm a steampunk dude. Yeah, I'm down. I'm in.
I love that it says coming in due time. That was the Microsoft. Well, the final thing they announced was, I haven't already alluded to it, was the
The Black Series S.
yes.
Too bad he's not here because he could go on a rant about that, and I agree with him. Like, that's it's not shady, but like, is there any way to mod
No,
a
no.
S
No.
so you can have an attachment?
Unless you paint it.
Well, I think the biggest issue doesn't the original S just have 500 gigs?
Correct.
So small.
Yeah, this has a terabyte, so it's not just the fact that it's black; it's that it has double the storage.
For $50 more.
That's so not much more, and it's like,
No, yeah,
Yep.
oh,
So
and given that it doesn't have a disk drive, it's really fucking smart. You need the storage.
yeah, I mean, it's basically supposed to be just a Game Pass device. That's all it is.
mm.
But you can still download games to it. Yeah.
Exactly. What is your grade for the Microsoft press conference?
I'm gonna go with a B minus. The stuff that they should have shown outside of Starfield, I don't feel like they nailed. And that was disappointing because like Avowed, Fable, those things we should have been able to see more of and known more of what those games are going to be.
Stefan, where are you going to give Microsoft a grade?
C plus, I guess.
Whoa. Wow. Okay. What did you get Summer's Game Fest? Because you weren't on the last episode.
Oh, it's been so long since or it's not been a long time since I've seen that, but like, I think I gave that a C minus, if I remember right.
So both.
Wow, you're really killing it with the low grades here, my friend.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, a C plus is 1 degree difference than what Burkhoff just gave.
Yeah.
But it's just weird because I feel like I got more information from the Starfield trailer than any other game on that list, and then they had like a 1 hour direct or whatever right after that for Starfield, and I don't get much information of anything else, even though the games look interesting.
Yeah.
And they're all 2024 except Forza, which I'm never gonna play. So yeah. I will say quick that the best thing about it was how varied some of like the titles were, with the variety.
Yeah.
But we still didn't see it. We didn't see enough about them.
I disagree about the variety thing. Hardcore. If you look at Microsoft first party, it's all first person RPG or first person shooter. I think Fable's the only one that's Fable and Hellblade are the only 2 third person games. I think.
What about 33 Immortals? I'm talking about there's other stuff too during that review.
But that's not coming
What
exclusive
they
to
actually showed off.
Microsoft.
Oh, okay.
33 Immortals is coming to PlayStation. So. But anyway, I would give B. I'm similar with Burkhoff. Like, for how much, like, they really never showed actual, like, a full gameplay snippet of the games. They only showed, and I gotta dig it. I gotta dink it hard for Hellblade. You gotta be kidding me. Like, it's just
that's one of my biggest complaint with the show was Hellblade.
Like, it's just no way. And then, Starfield, yeah, they did show off more stuff, which is good. But yeah, it's just like, where's the gameplay, man? There's no gameplay, especially for titles that are coming pretty soon in 2024. And we're about to show with Ubisoft, which won't be very long. We'll go through it very quickly. There's a bunch of stuff we're going to skip because we don't care. But a title from Ubisoft is coming in 2024 and they could show gameplay and give us like what the full experience of the game is going to feel like. And I felt like Microsoft just failed to do that miserably. And they had a great opportunity for multiple titles to give us something. Or clearly they aren't 2024 titles because they're going to be kicked out of 2024.
That's my concern too. Like, especially with Avowed, I don't know if that's even at the shorter length, is it really polished enough?
When do you think Hellblade's coming out?
It should be 2024 based on the fact that we heard about it.
Let me rephrase it this question. Which of the titles do you think are going to be moved out of 2024?
Hellblade, I do think will be.
Yeah, Hellblade.
Fable.
Yeah, I don't think
wasn't dated.
Fable's coming.
Oh, okay. I can't remember now what were the other big games that they showed.
Well, South of Midnight we know is probably not going to be till like 2026 at least.
I think the only one that will make it in 2024 is going to be Avowed.
I agree with that.
I only say that because
That-
what they
that- I
showed
mean,
was literally in the game engine. It all looked like it was the game world. The combat stuff looked like it was pretty
Let me
well
check.
in depth. They showed multiple different kinds of spells on multiple different kinds of enemies in different environments. I felt like that one was a less controlled trailer compared to all the other titles.
Are we
When
just
do we
talking
think
about first party right now?
Just first party,
yeah.
Okay.
When do we think Clockwork Revolution is gonna hit?
2025 the earliest.
Yeah, because I mean that's still. I mean this is a debut trailer.
If they
So-
would have, if they were confident, they would have said 2024. All right, we're gonna move on to Ubisoft, where they showed off. We're basically gonna cover about 3 or 4 titles that basically they announced. The rest of them we're kind of just gonna slip by. But
We're not gonna talk about Just Dance.
no, because they didn't have my dancing panda. How dare they? My dancing panda wasn't there. He is my favorite part about the Just Dance parts of the conference. How dare they not include the panda? But we're going to talk about Avatar Frontiers of Pandora got finally revealed. This one got pushed from last year. It was supposed to come out with the film, and it got pushed to next year, which is this year, and it is coming out this year. It is coming out. I can't remember what the release date was, but it will be out this year. Thoughts?
Are we just doing the in out right now, or because these are bigger, or are we doing more in depth thoughts?
More in depth, yeah.
Okay. I love the Avatar movie. I mean, I don't love it, but like I love the world. So I am excited for this. I guess it depends on really how involved James Cameron was in consulting with this.
Well, it seems like he was very involved
Okay.
because he was he literally was in the video presentation talking about this title.
Okay. So then I would be in. But it really just depends on how much my OCD will act up for it. Like this could easily be the first Far Cry game that I finish. But yeah, this is probably the one I'm excited for the most from their conference.
I'm decently excited. I'm waiting for more info, but I think it's gorgeous. Like I think the environment is really nice looking. Obviously you can't match what the films have done, but
Yeah.
it does look really nice, and it does look like it's capturing what the movies have captured in a sense of the environment and the world. I'm just curious on the plot is not very good in my opinion so far. Plot is basically like you were taken from your village and you were trained by the humans to basically be like a what's the word I'm looking for?
A mercenary.
No, I can't remember what it was. It was something like a liaison to the people. And then all of a sudden, because of what happened in the first film, they got put in they got put in pods and were asleep for 5 years, and then they woke up, and all of a sudden they have to, rediscover the world again, basically. So,
I mean, is that any better than the plot of the films?
it all sucks.
Yeah,
Let's
that's
be
my,
honest.
The plot, or the good part of the plot, is just the world itself,
But
the setting.
yeah, I'm interested to see more, but I don't know if we're gonna give it a thing.
I wish Liam was on because I know he would have a lot of good things to say about this game and Avatar in general.
But yeah, him and me really like him.
Yeah, I'm probably the worst person to ask about this stuff because I feel like I haven't seen any of the movies. I thought when the first movie came out, it's the most pretentious bullshit to sell 3D movie tickets ever. And so I just was out.
It's really
And
good
I've
3D
been-
technology, Ben.
Yeah.
It's really
But
good 3D technology.
I've been out, dude. I don't want Pocahontas in space. I don't give a shit. Like, that's just how I feel.
It's okay. It's not about the Pocahontas in space. It's about the 3D. That's all that matters.
I should say real quick, the Pocahontas part of the commentary, I think a lot of people miss the point that it's more of a not about that than just being totally anti-war.
Okay.
Or more of anti
Military.
No, just more about like protecting the environment and.
I think it's way more about the anti-military because I know James Cameron hates that sort of stuff.
I would disagree on that because like they literally go to war. Especially in the second film, they go to war a lot.
Yeah,
Like,
but I'm probably more like the U.S. like the military aspect, like our military and things like that.
The,
It's like
the military industrial complex, like
yeah,
the whole
it's why like
structure.
it's why in an Aliens, all the Marines are like the big stereotypical jocks, dumb jocks that are just
The jarheads, yeah.
yeah.
I would disagree. I would also disagree on that, to be honest. I don't see it as that at all. I see it as because like the military industrial complex is about creating wars. They don't want to make war. They just want them out of the way to take the natural resource from the planet, but the indigenous people won't allow it. So of course they're going to fight back. It's like they're not trying to cause war. They're just in the way of getting what they need to make money. It's like that's not military complex. It's more about capital.
Yeah, it's a commentary on capitalism, but
Yeah, commentary on capitalism in ordering to ruin a planet and doesn't care about the environment and what the stakes are to like. They don't care what it costs.
Well, that is a commentary on the military industrial complex, though, because that is what it is. It's the marriage of industry and colonialism.
We should ask later for Liam to watch this and just say
What his thoughts are. Yeah,
he'll say like who's right, who's wrong, like what it really means.
yeah. I mean, I honestly, yeah. Like, I wish he was on because I would have just stayed quiet and let him talk.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't see that as military industrial complex. But then your definition is not what I understand as that. So
Okay.
but anyway, I'm an I don't know. But Berghoff, you're a no.
I've been out. Yeah, I'm never gonna play this.
All right, we're gonna skip the Lost Crown unless Stefan, you got anything to say about it because we've already talked about it.
Yeah, I'll just go briefly. Like at first, I was very out on it because I didn't get Prince of Persia vibes, but I'm especially since I'm getting more like the Greek vibes for some reason. But I'm getting more into it now because I can kind of look at it more just as a game itself. But I would rather it be like I would much rather see the remake of Sands of Time, one that they did from scratch, or like a full reboot, like a 3D reboot of Sands of Time. So I have mixed feelings. I'll probably play this eventually, but right now I just don't know.
I don't need the remake of Sands of Time. Sands of Time is fine the way it is.
It is aged so bad.
Nah, that's fine. It's fine. I've played it. Played it recently. It's fine.
I think we should point out though that the Ubisoft Connect, is that what they call it? The Ubisoft Connect?
Forward.
All right, whatever. They did show a lot more gameplay, and I'm super into this as a
Agreed.
Metroidvania,
Yeah.
and for a AAA studio to put out something like this, I think is because normally this would be something that they pawn off like, oh, we'll publish it, if an indie studio wants to do something like this, but for a AAA studio to commit to a Metroidvania and to take one of their like a flagship IP and do that, I'm down. I think it looks awesome.
Can one of you clarify something though? Is Jordan Mesher, the creator of the franchise, has he just been commenting on it, or is he
Actually
making the
involved?
game?
I don't know. I'm
No
not
idea.
sure. I'd have to look
Because
into it.
because I've seen him commenting a lot on it, like what it's okay for the prince to look like that because it's authentic. But if he's actually involved with it, that makes it a much bigger deal for me.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
For me, I don't care like whoever is involved in a project as long as they are executing it well and keeping whatever essence they're trying to capture out of it. For me, I like the reason why I recognized it was the Prince of Persia was because of the clothes. It's got that staple pant with the scarf around.
That's true. Yeah.
And it just has that look. And yet I do also like the change that they made the prince look very different, and I like that a lot. So, we're gonna skip a couple of them. X Defiant was shown. We're gonna skip that. They have a new TV show that they're gonna have on Netflix, which is an animated show. Captain Laserhawk and Blood Dragon remix, which is basically just a bunch of Ubisoft properties all in an animated show. They showed off a new CG trailer for The Division, for Resurgence, which is a new expansion. Skull and Bones did a funny thing. They had a musical performance, and that's all it was, and then said, "Hey, look forward to our beta."
Yeah.
That tells how much that title we were waiting for, just it to have something.
Is Skull and Bones the one that had the funny stuff recently, where people like were in the beta and then they like most of them played one time and then they never went back?
I don't
Yeah.
think.
Testers.
No, I thought that was Roller Champions, but I don't think
No, I think it was Skull and Bones.
It was Skull and Bones. Yeah.
Oh, I thought they haven't done their beta yet.
It was testers, like QA testers. Like I think that's what I heard. Like I think Liam might have posted it.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, we'll have to find the article or something and maybe tweet it out or whatever.
But it was a terrible statistic for the game.
Nah.
Yeah, so I was gonna sign up for it. I'm still kind of interested in Skull and Bones. The core concept of
You haven't seen the gameplay though yet.
No, but like the core concept of let's take Black Flag's ship combat or Black Flag and Rogue and let's take that ship combat and then make it a full game with some multiplayer elements. Like I'm down for that.
That was 2 gens ago though, Burkoff. Like who knows if that like the system they had to remake it from scratch and it doesn't feel the same.
And the multiplayer aspect is where it loses me big time.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm still interested. We'll see what happens when it actually comes out, I guess. It should be a free to play or a like $20 game, but I think it's coming out for full price, and at that, it's basically dead on arrival. I think at this point,
Dead in the water.
dead in the water.
Oh yeah, 100%. Trying to get my mouse to work, but we'll move on to the announcement of Assassin's Creed coming to Meta Quest 2.
Yeah, so Assassin's Creed Nexus, I guess, is a spin-off title for the series.
Wait,
Yes.
is this the VR? This is the VR one?
The
Yes.
VR one, yeah.
Okay, this is the perfect time for me to go to the bathroom quick. I'm
So-
serious. I have to go.
No, you're good. So this has been a title where you get to play as one of the 3 different assassins from the Assassin's Creed franchise.
I mean, I'm not big on VR in general. This might be interesting just because you get to experience the movement in first person, but yeah, I don't know.
Well, the fact it's just a CG trailer doesn't really show you what it really is going to feel like anyway.
I'm assuming in VR, like I'm assuming that it's going to be, first person. It's not going to
yeah.
be super lucky. It's not going to be super Lucky Tail, right? And I mean the parkour aspect of it is what's going to draw people in. Yeah, I don't know. I want a reason to buy a VR headset. It's been what 10 years now, and nobody's ever given me a reason to buy one. So I feel like this is the same. Like it's great that you're releasing a VR title, but like who really cares?
All right, moving on to the next one. This is a no for me. I'm not buying a meta quest for this thing.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed, codename Jade. This is a mobile game, available on iOS and Android.
Yeah, so this was interesting. Like, this was the most interesting of all of the Assassin's Creed titles when they came out with, I guess it was after Valhalla, and they put out the roadmap of what they were going to do with the series. There's Jade, Mirage, and then the one that's going to be like
Talking about Hex, or the
Hex.
Asian
I guess
one.
there's four. I guess there's four. So, well, this is the Asian one, isn't it, Jade?
Yes.
Oh, you might be right. Okay.
This one's set
Yeah.
in China.
What's the fourth one
So-
then? The VR?
No, there was another one that they were going to do that was it's going to be like live content stuff, like where you buy chapters or assumingly, we don't know, they haven't talked about it.
Oh, I thought it was like kind of like how Halo had that waypoint thing. I thought that's what it was.
Maybe, I don't know, we haven't heard about it yet. So I think so far they've talked about everything except for that title. This one was the most interesting to me when they first laid out the roadmap of what they were going to do with the franchise moving forward. Super disappointing that it's just going to be a mobile game. Because I think story-wise and like setting-wise, it's the one of the most interesting.
Yeah, to me, Assassin's Creed's dead to me. I'm never going back. I really need a break. I really need a break from this franchise, a really long break, and they really need to start working on new IP because Assassin's Creed is getting old.
What does it say that with seeing Mirage and this other gameplay stuff for Assassin's Creed, the only one I'm excited about is Hex, which we haven't seen stuff on. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it sounded interesting when they talked about it.
it's gonna be a mobile game probably. Now.
I don't remember if they ever laid out what Hex was going to be.
They just said something with mystic elements.
It was supposed to be about. I feel like it's going to be set in during like the witchcraft trials and stuff. I don't know if it'll be Salem, but like over just when that huge frenzy just maybe in Europe was going on.
Well,
yeah.
So Jade is a no for Burkoff. It's a no for me. What about you, Stefan? Is Jade a yes or no for you?
No. It's a no. For mobile stuff, I usually just do like puzzle games that are free.
All right.
Yeah,
well,
I hope that they port it up to Steam. If they port it up to Steam, I'll check it out.
Well, they did show off Assassin's Creed Mirage, more gameplay.
This is the big one for their showcase for sure.
Wasn't the biggest one for me. I don't think it was. But they showed off way more Star Wars, I think. But
yeah, that was the big one.
I was more impressed with Star Wars. But anyway,
Okay.
I'm now even more disinterested in this title after seeing the gameplay.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I'm just not interested. I'm like, even they're like, oh yeah, we're going back to like how Assassin's Creed used to be. I wish they did a different time zone. Like, why are we going back to the same time frame as the first original one with Altair? I wished they really chose a different point in history and then went back to like going back to the original concept and design of the game, because this just reminds me more of Origins and the original. And like, I've seen enough of this environment. I'm done with that. I'm good.
Matt, you kind of alluded to it before, but we like the idea of it scaling it back, but they scaled back so much of the resources that they were using to make this game. Mostly, probably just all because of Star Wars. But this game looks really rough to me. It does not look very good. Like when I was watching the facial animations of them talking, and I don't know, I do feel like it didn't look very fast either, like the movement. So I didn't like that.
Okay.
So like I just lost all interest in the game.
For me, it looks and feels like an Assassin's Creed game. I didn't pick up on any
Burkoff, for the
irregularities.
record, this is coming out for last gen hardware. So that might be a reason. Just saying.
Okay.
It's
That
not
might be-
exclusively
okay, what you're
made for
saying.
next gen. So they are doing probably a lot of upscaling instead of it being made solely for next gen for this gen hardware. So
Yeah, so in contrast to what Stefan was saying, I don't really think that looks that bad.
I don't think it does either.
I'm not put off by it. I like the idea of having a more concise experience with Assassin's Creed. Um, that being said, Black Flag and Origins are my two favorite in the entire franchise. Um, I really love the story of Origins. I hate the fact that it's the different segments are level gated. And this seemingly gets rid of that. So based on that aspect alone, and the fact that you just play through the story and it's going to be, concise.
This is a
15
prequel to them, right? To or Odyssey and Valhalla, or Origins and Valhalla.
I think it's
I
I think
don't
it's
know. I
past
can't
it's
keep up with the
past
story personally.
Origins, but before Valhalla, and Odyssey's before them all. It's
I thought you were playing as one of the characters from those games.
a freaking mess. He's from Valhalla. He's from Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Because I
don't know.
I don't care about that game at all. So it's like I don't have any attachment to this.
Yeah, it's another reason why I don't like that they did that.
We would need Rafa on to explain all of the story intricacies. I don't think I've ever played an Assassin's Creed game invested in like all of the different like interconnections between the games, because I play them so irregularly. So as long as the core story that you're experiencing in the game is cohesive, and you don't have to know what's going on in the other games, which I feel like most of them you can sit down, you get a story experience. If you know about the other games, okay, there's more stuff that you can there's like Easter eggs and whatever that you can get more enjoyment out of it if you know about the other games. I don't feel like that's ever a requirement for any Assassin's Creed game. I feel like you can go into it, you get a story. If you know about the other stuff, great. If not, it's not like a detriment.
Yeah, I'm not one to talk or can talk about Assassin's Creed because the most I've put into one of them is Assassin's Creed 3. So my opinion is it was just considered one of the worst.
I think it's one of the best.
Really?
I like.
I liked it,
a
but
lot.
like
I liked it a lot.
I did not finish it. You remember the parts where you go down into like I don't know if it was the Underground Railroad or if it was like for like prohibition type stuff, and you had to light the lanterns with your torch, and then if you'd come out, it was like a maze underground. I don't know if you remember that. When I first started playing that game,
took place during the Revolution, right?
yeah, I think when I first started playing that, I spent so many hours just filling out that maze before doing any of the game, going back and forth, lighting up that whole network. That's all I did for hours.
Yeah, I'm just meh. I'm out. Stefan?
Out.
Barkov?
I'm in. If I can play an Assassin's Creed game and finish it in 15 hours, I'm down.
I don't know if it's 15 hours though.
It'd be pretty cool if they made an Assassin's Creed game like this, but like in the this new Prince of Persia game style. Like I would really like that. Well, no, just more like a Metroidvania.
Mm.
All right, time for the big 500-pound gorilla. Star Wars Outlaws. Takes place between The Empire Strikes Back and The Return of the Jedi. You are playing a just some girl, and I think that's what they defined it as too. They wanted you to play as just a regular person, not someone with special powers or anything, just a regular person living in this universe. And you got this adorable little creature that you get to hang out with all day long. I love it.
I think it's weird that people are upset that there's not a lightsaber. And I'm like, you realize non-force sensitive people can use lightsabers, so it doesn't mean you won't use a lightsaber in that game. Like that's a huge controversy with people right now, or a big deal that there's no lightsaber. Like, I mean, I would not be surprised if there's a lightsaber.
Right.
Anyone want to go first on this?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like Evan. I'm just burnt out on Star Wars stuff. I feel like it's oversaturated. So it's hard for me to get excited about it. I think it looks like a quality game. Um, but yeah, it's really hard for me to get excited about this, just based on the fact that there's just so much oversaturation with the Star Wars in general.
I'm on a sort of a similar boat. I put a lot of hours into. I didn't finish it, but a lot of hours into Jedi Survivor. But I got hit with the bug where the bounty hunter wouldn't two bounty hunters that I killed didn't give me the items I needed for progress. So I haven't touched it since. So it's like I'm a lot more cold with Star Wars games right now. And this is probably going to be a really big open world experience.
Right.
Another issue. But you're talking about oversaturation. I'm not even going to watch Ahsoka for a while when that comes out because I have right now. I'm just started going through Clone Wars, and I'm going to go through Rebels to get like all caught up.
Mhm.
So I think I'm going to like space out all my Star Wars stuff for quite a while. So by the time I get around to playing this, I could be really burnt out on Star Wars from all that. Or I could be like, from what I just watched, I could be really in the mood for Star Wars. So I just don't know with this game.
No, I'm pumped. I'm pumped. Like, yeah, in some ways, I'm actually not fatigued on Star Wars. I'm fatigued on Marvel. Let's be honest. What new Star Wars
both,
content? What new Star Wars content has really came out recently? Star Wars has kind of been actually not really coming out with a lot lately, to be honest. Like we have the Mandalorian once every year, and that's basically it for Star Wars. We haven't had a movie in 4 years.
Well, no, they did Andor. They did
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan.
Yeah, we just have one Star Wars show a
series.
year.
Yeah, but Obi-Wan sucked. Sorry.
I don't know.
It's not like we're having Marvel movies and shows, and we have 4 Marvel movies a year and like 2 Marvel shows a year, and Star Wars only has 1 show a year. I don't know how that's burnt out. That's not really burnt out. I guess you could say like you're just not happy with the result of what Star Wars has been doing, and so that you're burnt out of bad Star Wars. Like that could be a thing. But
Andor is my favorite since Empire, so it's not. I think the Star Wars quality has been much better than Marvel. Like I think Marvel feels oversaturated because the quality just took a huge dip after Endgame. It's so Phase 4 is longer than Phase 1, 2, and 3 combined, and most of that stuff is it was all that was to set up Phase 5. And so it was so boring.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm not burnt out. I really like this. I think it's interesting to play like a bounty hunter. It sounds like it's going to be a heist game too, because you have to pull out the like the premises to get out of her issue that she's in. She has to pull off the biggest heist ever. And so like I'm down for a Star Wars heist game with a blaster and a cute little instead of having a droid, it's kind of nice to have a creature, which is I like a lot. So
I wonder if they'll have Cad Bane in there. And then have you seen Clone Wars? Any of you seen Clone Wars?
Long time ago. I haven't watched the last season that they did, so I don't
Are
know
you
how
all
it wrapped
caught up on Mandalorian?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I finished season 3.
Cad, spoiler for other people, Cad Bane was the bounty hunter that killed Timothy Oliphant.
Okay. All right.
He was in Clone Wars as he had a couple some episodes like where he had to do this heist where he had to get a holocron. So he
But
was
he-
the protagonist,
But
even
he
though he
died in
wasn't good.
Boba Fett, so like it didn't even matter. Like to like
Oh, was
have,
it Boba?
Well,
Was it Boba
yeah,
Fett
but
that he was in?
yeah, he died in Boba
Okay.
Fett. He showed up in
Okay.
Boba Fett for like 1.5 episodes, and he died.
Yeah. Yeah.
It wasn't even
Well,
that
and this
really
takes-
interesting, to be honest.
No, but
but
a
when
lot of
this,
people
but
like the
when this takes
character.
place, though, yeah. But
What-
when
what
this
he-
takes place, is he's still alive?
Yeah,
he is still
would be
alive in this one, so you could run into him, but it's like it's not gonna be interesting because he dies later. So it's like,
Not necessarily. I mean, they could do
No.
something with his character.
I
or whatever,
mean,
but
like if you ran into Han Solo and but you know his outcome that he dies, that doesn't make it any less exciting.
I
Right.
guess I'm not. I'm not a fan of him, so like it's just not my thing.
I mean, you'd have to watch the other stuff with him in it to actually.
Oh, I've seen
Yeah,
Clone
and-
Wars.
and-
I know
you
exactly who he is. I'm still
Okay.
not a fan of him. I'm not big on his character, but that's why I was not very like. That's why I was like, he was, and then he was such a throwaway in Mandalorian. I mean, in Book of Boba Fett, that like
Oh, yeah.
even more like went, nah, not interesting. Clearly wasn't
I
that
would-
interesting.
I was pissed that he killed that character.
Nah, but
I want to point out that McWomble and OTAPS are both in chat right now. McWomble says, "How long have you guys been on? Didn't mean to back out and just woke up to the pod."
we have been streaming for 2.5 hours. Also,
and OTAPS Joey says Star Wars sucks.
Also, I do have to point out that, like, you guys were talking about resources being allocated to all of this. Like, Massive is the main developer on this project. Like, I don't see them pulling all the resources to Star Wars. Like, Massive is taking care of it, and maybe they have a couple secondary studios, but Ubisoft has tons of projects down there in their pipeline that I don't see them like taking away resources from Mirage to like work on this. Nah, I don't see that.
It's equivalent to how Nintendo had a lot of studios work on Zelda, but then like even Monolith, but they still were able to put out the big.
I mean, that's not even
Xenoblade.
confirmed. It's not that. It's to move allocation of like all the studios to work on a project is like, it's not realistic. Whoever tells you that it's just not true.
Well, I never meant like they were all only working on that game. It just felt like
I'm telling you right now, it's not realistic.
Yeah.
It's if another studio helps, it's a very small group of people, and if so, they were hired to be allocated towards helping you. Like most of the time, that's not how it's its own thing. So like,
Yeah. Well, all right. So I think the elephant in the room with Outlaws, though, is it may have an amazing intro, and that might be like 2 hours of your life that you're just like, oh, this is fucking awesome. But once you walk out and you step out onto the main map, and you're like, oh, there's these icons and these icons and these icons and these icons, and I've got this checklist of all the shit that I needed. Is that what we're gonna get with this? I think so.
see, I disagree.
I
I
mean,
don't think so.
That's the Ubisoft formula. That's what they do with games.
But this is Massive. Massive is a completely different developer.
what games have they worked on before?
Let me
We'll
just triple
pull it up
check
right now.
before I.
Was Massive working on a different Star Wars before this that fell through? No, that was Motive, right?
Yeah,
I was getting M's confused.
yeah. So Tom Clancy's The Division 2. They are working on Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora, Just Dance.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't see them as like it. Who knows? Yet it could be all icons everywhere. It could. Not saying it's not a possibility. I just have a feeling based off what the gameplay was showing me, not really.
Can't you turn those icons off anyways in those games?
I'm just
So-
saying, like it's a big check. It's a giant checklist. It's just a bunch of shit that you have to go do.
I feel like because it's a Star Wars property, Lucasfilm is protective of it and may not let them do that.
Maybe not.
Lucasfilm might say, "Hey, we don't want this to be a giant checklist of crap."
If we're talking about known games that they've worked on. Let's talk about The Division, right? Division had an awesome showing when the first trailer that came out. Everybody's like, "Wow, what is this going to be? This is new Ubisoft property, right?" And it turned out that it was just this huge grind fest. Some people love it. It's, not a bad game. But you get into it and you're like, "Oh, all right, I've got all these things that I have to do across the world, that I've got to unlock all this shit, and I've got to, like it's."
I think unfortunately you're comparing apples to oranges, because like this is a
They're very different games.
Single player third person action adventure, potentially action RPG, whereas like that game, that's a multiplayer third person shooter. Like it's a massive.
It's like Destiny.
It literally was
Isn't
it was supposed to make them money. It's like Star Wars is not meant to like make them recurring revenue unless there is something hidden in it we don't know about, but I highly doubt it. I don't know. I just feel as if the way that they were explaining what this game is, I feel like they're in the right direction. Could go wrong. Still can go wrong, but I understand your criticism, and I'm not saying it's valid. I'm saying I feel like it's not going in that direction, but it totally will, and if it does, that's going to scare the crap out of me.
I don't think it'll have that grind fest aspect to it, but I think it'll have the checklist stuff of like a Far Cry, more like that, where there's so much to do that you can.
Well, you are trying.
Go ahead.
Especially if you're playing a bounty hunter character.
Yeah, you're a bounty hunter character. You need to do bounties. You probably like need money to maintain your ship. Like there might be elements of like, similar to Starfield, where it's like, hey, to be able to travel to different planets, you need to have a certain amount of resources of something, and you have to do some jobs to get it done. And maybe you run into maybe it's like a checklist, but then when you do them, you find interesting stories about different Star Wars characters. Like maybe you do run into Cad Bane in one of those scenarios where you have to make a decision. They also they say decision making is a big aspect of the title. So I think that's also something that's fresh and different that they don't do in the other games. So like I think there is, and it seems like what they try to do is, it seems like all their sequences transition from one type of gameplay to another. So it goes from like a sneaking sequence to a full out shooting sequence to then a chase sequence on a motorbike to an escape sequence over in space. It seems like things ever evolve. And they even talked about things like the wanted system. So like when she walked out, it had the wanted. And they're like, oh, if you cause trouble in the planet you're on, you could be wanted by the Empire, which then changes the way the environment interacts with you in regards to they could be more hostile to you. So like, things you do in the world could affect things. And I think that's different.
So is it more Watch Dogs then? Is it more Watch Dogs than Division or Far Cry?
I mean, I think it's none of them. I think this is it feels as if it's an attempt to do something completely different they've never done before.
Maybe. It might be the case, yeah.
Which again, this is just the Ubisoft is just the publisher.
Purely conjecture on our part, yeah.
Totally. And Ubisoft is just the publisher. They don't have control of like, I mean, they do have slight control of like what the title is because they're a studio of Ubisoft, but like, Massive could have come up with their own like premise of this project, and then Ubisoft is like, that's different. I'm fine with that. Let's do it. Like it could be that way.
So you mentioned how it looks like there's a lot of varied gameplay based off like the mission or your objective, which I've actually always wanted that from Star Wars, especially since I really like the Jack and Daxter games. And the second and third one, based off your objective or mission, like the gameplay will be varied a lot. Like you might have to do like a racing, like bring a package somewhere in like a certain amount of time, but it actually it's organic to the story. And if there's like a Star Wars game like that where each objective has like a unique gameplay twist, where it's the motorbike to get somewhere fast enough, or it's more just an actual fighting sequence, then I would really dig that.
Okay. I think the final thing I'll say about it is, it seems like that the studios that have been trusted with Star Wars as of recently have really taken the care to make sure the game is good. Like, it's really good and it's really right, and it's not just this generic Star Wars game. Like you can see with Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor, like those games are really well made, and like they're not like your average open world game. Like they thought things through, and they tried new elements. I feel like this is like another one of those things where the studio here is doing the same thing.
Maybe, yeah.
But
I think Vin Sampella's laughing at Matt Booty on the 10-year development cycles. He's like, no, dude, we're putting out another Star Wars game. It's gonna be less than 10 years. We're gonna have three Star Wars games out there.
you in,
But,
you out, or you don't know?
I don't know, but I can tell you that I'm more excited for whatever the Hennig Star Wars game is.
Oh yeah,
Because they just got the game director is going to be the director of 1313. So I'm probably more excited for that.
Okay.
So I don't know yet either. If this is just classic Ubisoft, I'm not gonna get much beyond the intro because I'm gonna hit that map and I'm gonna see all the stuff that you need to do, and I'm just gonna be overwhelmed and like I can't do this.
I think it depends too on how much connective thread there is to the movies and other, because like,
well,
I would
looks like you're
prefer
running into both parties of both the Empire and the Rebellion.
no, I mean character wise.
Oh, well, I mean Han Solo's right there.
Wait, he's in the game?
Well, they in the first trailer they have
Oh, the Carbonite.
Han Solo and Carbonite going to
Yeah.
Jabba's palace. So who knows? Maybe you're going to Jabba's palace. Maybe you're the one that tells Luke Skywalker where Jabba is and where Han Solo is. Like maybe that's a mission. Like you never know.
But
there's an
if it's
opportunity.
intricate, if it's like super tied to the Skywalker saga, that I think that would be a big misstep.
Yeah.
Especially for me, especially since a lot of people want Star Wars to move on from that. So I'd rather it just be about this person dealing with the Empire on her own.
Yeah, I would rather a game set in either the old or High Republic eras.
I mean,
I can't wait. Go ahead.
I could care less of like if she runs into the characters or not, as long as it like contextually makes sense in the universe. And even if she does one mission for one of the characters from the original, who cares? Like
That would be fine.
Like it's I don't think she's integral to Luke being successful in between the two films. And I think they really made it abundantly clear she's just your normal bounty hunter. So I highly doubt that she'll have a connection with the Skywalkers or anything like that.
Yeah.
For me, it's a definite, like, I'm in. And not only am I in, this is better than anything Xbox showed. 100%. Like, just saying.
I can. To your point about I lost my train of thought.
It's
Matt,
still no gameplay. It's still no gameplay. So like you're saying it's better than anything Xbox showed. We still don't.
You don't think they showed gameplay?
They showed gameplay. That is gameplay.
In
100%.
in the Star Wars Outlaws.
Yes.
Yeah. They showed two trailers. One at Xbox was all cinematic, and then the one at Ubi was like
All
all
gameplay.
gameplay.
The one we're watching is the cinematic trailer. Though.
Yeah, the other trailer with the gameplay in it, apparently it was cropped funny from what I downloaded, so it wasn't good to show. So I'm keeping showing the cinematic trailer.
All right, okay. All right,
But
okay.
the actual like other one is all gameplay, 100%. It's great.
All right.
It's
Well, I'll
really
go back to that. And I'll rewatch it. I still don't. I'm not big on this.
It showed a bunch of mechanics, like including her and her speeder bike is a big element of the game too, and being able to like shoot on the bike and be able to maneuver around with the bike.
Yeah.
It's great.
And then like when you take off from the planet into your ship, like you see it go into
seamlessly transition into space, and she does space combat. She then does like she has a sequence where she collects her bounty and then she gives it, and she runs into an Imperial commander who is part of the negotiation of the giving of the item. And then she tries to double cross her by saying like, hey, I could just report you for stealing this fine material. and then she has to make a decision whether to bribe the Imperial or to tell her to F off, and she does tell her to F off, but then her wanted level goes up and she has to escape the planet because she's going to be caught by the Empire. So like it's super fascinating to see how like everything connects, and it's really, really good.
Also, blaster fire is not very good like it should be.
Not very
Like,
good.
What do you mean?
It's like when stormtroopers have blasters, they're inaccurate with it.
Mm-hmm.
So like in the old Star Wars shooters, they purposely made them inaccurate, so like it would be really hard to die from stormtroopers because of the blasters. In this game, I got that feel too, because like you'll probably get other guns that are better, but like this typical blaster seems to be purposely a little unwieldy.
No, her blaster was fine. I think the reference that Matt was making in the podcast of Sifted was he was making reference to everyone else missing their shots. Your aiming is fine, and even the blaster's pretty cool. It has multiple sets you can set it to. One of the different blasters sets it to be like a breaking shields. It's a home, like they have different names to it. I also saw stun on the list too, so you could stun an enemy with your blaster. Apparently, they said the blaster is kind of something that you're gonna because not only did they do this, they did a whole talk after this to talk about this Star Wars game. They really blew this out like they did Starfield, basically talking about all the mechanics and stuff. But basically the blaster is something that's forever going to be upgrading and giving you new tools with the blaster to be able to do different things with it. So stunning enemies is one of them, just your regular blaster shots to be able to kill enemies. And then there's like homing shots where it can break through shields when they put up barriers. So like there's tons of ways to use your blaster. It's kind of your like key bread and butter weapon. She also has a grappling hook to be able to rappel down from places too. So, and she also can ask her little friend thingy to push buttons for her. There's also a act cute in front of people mechanic so that it can distract enemies. So she can get behind them and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool to see her like command her little friend to do things for her too. And apparently they've been childhood friends for a long time, and they've been together since. So apparently they have a very close friendship, which my coworker said, if you kill the dang thing at the end of the game, he's going to hate them forever. And I agree. So Ubisoft, what do you give it to them in the end? What's your grade?
I don't know. I didn't watch the gameplay stuff for Outlaws, obviously, so I'll go B.
I'm just really quickly looking at how much stuff I actually care about.
I think if you're into Ubisoft stuff.
Yeah, I'm not really. So a C, just based off of Prince of Persia and Avatar. Those are like really the only two things I am excited for right now. With Star Wars, I don't know.
I gave Microsoft a B. What did I give Microsoft, a B?
Yeah, you did.
Minus something like that, yeah.
You said B.
I said B. I'm giving Ubisoft a B plus. They show gameplay from multiple titles. And yes, may I not care about some of these titles? And yes, did they show a lot of like filler, what people would call filler, which is like expansions on a bunch of their things? Well, Microsoft did that too. But they showed off games that I'm going to see in 2024 like Microsoft did, yet they showed me gameplay. So I will give it a... And also that Star Wars one looks phenomenal. It really does look really good. So easily going to be a contender for Game of the Year.
You notice the Prince of Persia, they actually, even though it's in 2024, they actually gave a date for it. Did Microsoft give any dates for games that were coming out in 2024?
No, they did not.
I don't think so.
Nope. Only games that are coming out this year. So, yeah. And then they showed off more Prince of Persia. They showed more gameplay. They actually showed off mechanics on it. Also, the Ubisoft press conference, they brought the developers on stage to talk about their titles a little bit. Even though they fumbled a little bit, at least they brought him on stage.
Yeah, so Otaps brought that up in the chat just now too. He said that they had a live audience, just like Summer Game Fest.
Yeah, and I felt like it mattered. So I'm giving Ubisoft a B+. I never thought I would say Microsoft was the second worst conference of the fake E3, but they are.
Did they
The non-E3
did
this year
the
is.
people talking, do they fumble just because English isn't their main language? Is that why?
A
didn't
little
see that
bit.
part,
I think
but-
also like some of them I don't think prepared what they were going to say ahead of time. So when they came out, it was just them by themselves trying to say something, and they kind of fumbled a
Okay.
bit.
Because I was gonna say if it's the former, it's like I always give that a pass.
Yeah,
It's just not their language.
it was a mixture
Yeah.
of the two. It was like, yeah, it's not
Okay.
their first language, but also it seemed like they weren't prepared of what they wanted to say exactly, and so they fumbled a bit. But again, I still give them props for being on stage, and so that's why they get a B+ from me. So Burkoff, what's you already know. We're moving on. Thank you so much for listening. That is the end of this podcast. Holy cow, we have went for almost 3 full hours. You called it, Burkoff. You called it.
Yeah.
We are Pixel Pites. We're the only global gaming podcast that covers 2 great things, which is good beer and video games. If you want to listen to us, we are on all the podcasting services around the globe and on YouTube. Just search Pixel Pints. We're right there. We stream live on twitch.tv/Pixel Pints every single weekend. If you want to follow us when we go live, you can go to Twitter at Pixel_Pints or Instagram at Pixel Pints Pod. Thank you so much for all that have joined. What are the magic words, Burkoff?
And on that note, we're out. I think. I'm not listening to the audio. You may have already tripped the music. I could just be talking. Yeah, dude, starve. I think you're gonna play way more than 20 hours. I think you're gonna play at least 60. You're gonna get through that main quest, and you're like, "Wow, this game was amazing."